While the Bears are playing in Detroit, the Green Bay Packers are home against the San Francisco 49ers, one game behind the Bears in the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers saying hello to Alex Smith. They'll forever be linked in that draft. We're back here in Detroit getting set for the Bears and the Lions. The Bears won the coin toss. They've elected to defer, so they will kick off to start the game and get their defense on the field, which has played so well. That man is very dangerous. Stephon Logan, he leads the NFL in kickoff return average, better than 28 yards per game.
Special teams will be big, Sam, for the Lions today with their issues with injury, especially at quarterback. Their special teams are going to have to be big contributors.
Robbie Gould kicks it off. Logan, 5 yards deep, takes a knee. That's the best way to prevent the top kickoff return man in the league from hurting you. Drew Stanton, out of Michigan State, in his fourth year in the NFL, makes his second NFL start.
Well, and you look at the playmakers right there. Calvin Johnson, Nate Burleson, Brandon Pettigrew, all having very good seasons. Lean on those guys, get them the football, the offensive line in front of them. Good news that Gosder Charles is out there today, the right tackle. He's been dealing with a knee injury, questionable for this game. This has been the one constant for this group. They've been fairly healthy, Sam, most of the year up front.
Stanton going up and down the line, checking out the defenders, and they stop the play. Flag flies, and we've got a false start to start the game.
False start, offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Rob Sims called on it, and for Jim Schwartz, his team, the most penalized team in the NFL.
And you think of that, that's their 39th pre-snap penalty when you look at their offense or the defense, and those are the ones that you can control. You know, an official's not throwing that flag based on his judgment. He's based on just making a mistake, the player making a mistake pre-snap. Got to get those things fixed.
The man in the backfield is now Javid Best, and he gets about a yard, and he is thrown back. The Bears' defense has been outstanding, especially against the run, and they are led by the front four.
Well, Julius Peppers, 4 sacks in the last 2 games. You just saw Anthony Adams there get good penetration. Those D tackles are playing better than anybody's talking about. Outstanding at linebacker. Roach out there today starting for Pisa Tinoi Samoa. And very simple what they do on the back end. A lot of too deep with the safeties, but they play fast and they'll hit you.
On 2nd and 9, off the play fake, set up the screen. It's to the tight end. Brandon Pettigrew breaks the tackle and gets up to the very close to the first down. That's a great effort by Brandon Pettigrew, who is second in the NFL in receptions amongst tight ends. Jason Witten of Dallas has 60. That was number 56 for Pettigrew.
Yeah, he's had a great year. Just a year off of an ACL. Lets Peppers go there, gets a nice block from Gosder Charles out on the screen, and it looks like Detroit going with some hurry up here, going to force the hand and dictate on that Bears defense.
And they got a first down on that play. The handoff this time is to Maurice Morris, who gets the fullback, Jerome Felton, the man who carries. Morris had split out as they changed backs in the backfield.
And Sam, Drew Stanton getting his second start in his NFL career here today, local kid from Michigan State. He's going to have to find the happy medium, if you will, about wanting to be a playmaker, playing for the future of his NFL life, but at the same time pulling back and letting his playmakers take over for him.
3 wide receivers in. Derek Williams, the third one. This is Morris carrying, and Maurice Morris gets up to the 35-yard line. It's not a great running team. Javid Best came in. He's had trouble with turf toe all season long. Maurice Morris is a solid back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Best is an excellent receiver out of the backfield as well.
And he was dynamite the first couple of weeks, and the Bears fans know that from week 1. But his toes have been an issue, and I'll tell you, anytime Maurice Morris, Sam, has had an opportunity, whether in Seattle or here, he always produces.
3rd and 5, Henry Melton in a tackle for the Bears. That pass caught by Nate Burleson, a first down. There was some pressure on Stanton. He hung in there and completed it to Nate Burleson.
Yep, and the Bears just have zone coverage. He gets it out on time. They call that staying on schedule, which means make your read, get the ball out. When you get to that back step, sync it up. The timing was perfect. That was a good throw versus the zone defense there to Nate Burleson.
Julius Peppers goes off. Melton goes to end, and Marcus Harrison in a defensive tackle for the Bears. Lions 3 wideouts. They go short to Burleson. Turns it into a nice game, but a flag comes down late. Burleson gets up to the 48-yard line, pick up a 5 on the play.
That'll be on Pettigrew for a hold out on the edge.
And that negates the play. Another penalty on the Lions.
Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Ed Hockley is our referee today. And it's Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, who says they have confidence in Drew Stanton. He will run the offense, but certainly he'll call plays that he feels comfortable with.
It's about dialing up all the cover 2 beaters today. You got to run just enough to keep your quarterback on schedule. You're going to see a lot of cover 2, 2 deep safeties from the Bears. If your O-line holds up, they should be able to pick it apart.
Peppers back in for the Bears. They hand off to Maurice Morris. Good run as he fights his way back across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Brian Urlacher, the man who put him down.
Maurice Morris last week in their game, on their Thanksgiving Day game, ran for over 6 yards a carry. I remember doing games when he was in Seattle. Anytime he got an opportunity for Sean Alexander, he made a lot of good plays. We had him here last year when they played Arizona, and he absolutely tore it up.
DJ Moore in as a 5th defensive back. Derek Williams in as a 3rd wideout for the Lions on 2nd down. The pass is knocked away. Calvin Johnson wanted a call, but Charles Tillman, the best cover corner that the Bears have as far as size is concerned for Calvin Johnson, broke up that play.
And I think we'll see this matchup all day long, because Tillman is the biggest and the best corner, and got physical right there with Calvin Johnson. And I mean, you're going to see him, I think, Sam, just based on skill sets, I think we're going to see Tillman shadow Calvin Johnson most of this game in the pass game.
3rd and 12 out of the shotgun. They stop the play again. The officials come in from either sideline to talk to Ed Hockley.
Neutral zone infraction defense number 69. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
That's on Henry Melton. There's Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith has been the steadying force for the Chicago Bears all season long. Early on, there was some controversy. There was discussion as to whether the Bears could get it together. He stuck to it after a couple of tough losses at home to Seattle and Washington, and now the Bears have come through and won 4 in a row.
So consistent, Lovie Smith.
Again out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Stanton throws deep, and that time it was short of Calvin Johnson. Peppers with pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, that just didn't come out of his hand right, because everything looked good mechanically. You're going to see him step up in the pocket. He's going to step up as he releases this ball. I don't know if Julius Peppers got his hand on his elbow, but something certainly messed with the release on that football, and it ended up way short. But good job there by Stanton, just feeling it, stepping up in the pocket. Just didn't make a good throw.
Will they punt to Devin Hester? Maybe the most dangerous punt returner in the NFL. He backs up. It's deep along the sideline. Takes it at the 5. And goes out of bounds close to the 10-yard line. Good punt by Nick Harris. Put it in a great spot. 51-yard punt. And the Bears on off.
Will be big for him against that veteran defense by the Bears. How will the Bears offensive line handle that front 4, especially in Ndamukong Suh, who's been dominant for the Lions, and then the special team game, electric. And it's not just Devin Hester. Stephon Logan can ignite it as well, Sam, for the Lions.
Bears start from the 12. They split out Manamalayuna and hand to Forte up the middle. And he gets across the 15. Pickup of 3 on DeAndre Levy, the middle linebacker. Made the stop. Jay Cutler leads the offense for the Bears. Great game last week with 4 touchdown passes, no INTs.
Yeah, maybe coming off of his best game. The versatility of Greg Olsen is outstanding. Here's a big key, though. 5th game that this offensive line, all 5 have been together. 5th game in a row. That's big for the Bears offense. What a dramatic shift. When you watch them the first 7 games to what they've been over the last 4, it's not even close. They don't look like the same offense.
Earl Bennett in motion. Johnny Knox and Earl Bennett, the wideouts. Here's Forte, nothing there. He was slowed down by Landon Johnson, who burst through the linebacker and tackled for a loss on the play. Nice job up front for a defense that is missing one of its key players. Kyle Vanden Bosch out with a neck injury, and Ndamukong Suh is special.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh is the best defensive tackle in pro football. Rookie or 10-year veteran, it doesn't matter. Middle linebacker DeAndre Levy, a good one. He's had some injuries. They've had some problems at the outside linebacker position. And then Louis Delmas, certainly the key to what they are on the back end at safety. There's Kyle Vanden Bosch, the heart and soul of that group up front. Go back to week 1, 79 plays in that game. Vanden Bosch was everywhere. They'll miss him today, Sam.
Timeout was called. A lot of noise with a third down coming up for the Bears. We'll be right back. Big third down play coming up for the Bears. They have 3 wide receivers. 3rd and 7. Lions show blitz. They come with it. They get Cutler. They sack him back at the 6-yard line. Led by the defensive end, Cliff Avril.
Yeah, and it's Cliff Avril right here. Cutler under center. Very difficult for him to get back when you send too many guys. Look at. I mean, they just send too many to block. Jamarcus Webb tries to kick down inside, but because Jay Cutler, Sam, is under center and not in the shotgun, he's really got no time to get set up, to get back to his launch point before Cliff Avril, with his 5th sack of the year, gets on him.
Brad Maynard to punt. Good high kick. Stefan Logan looks around, takes it at the 43 with some room to return. He is tripped up as he got to the 40-yard line. Good tackle by Major Wright, the rookie. Otherwise, Stefan Logan might have taken it to the house. 19-yard return for Logan, and great field position for the Detroit Lions.
Hey, Logan is outstanding. All 5'6" of them. We've seen him have some big returns. He was really good in Pittsburgh as a rookie. Comes out of a small school, small guy, red-hot heat in the open field. It's like a track meet when he's running down the numbers with the ball in his hands.
Jim Schwartz talking to Julian Peterson, his linebacker. Javid Best at the running back spot. The Lions start from the Bears' 38-yard line. It's Best with room. He's got good speed. Urlacher came up to take him down at the 30. Let's check out what's going on with the Minnesota Vikings today. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Brett Favre making his 297th consecutive regular season start. Injured on this play when he's hit by Arthur Moats of Buffalo. It is intercepted by Drayton Florence, but more importantly, Favre injured his shoulder out of the game. They say his return is questionable. Tavares Jackson now in quarterbacking the Vikings. Sam and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. That didn't look good for Favre. Best in the backfield on 2nd and 2. Quick outside, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Nate Burleson. It was Burleson early in the week who guaranteed a Lions victory, and everybody took it in stride. As far as the players go, they say you should be confident going into a game. You have to believe that you're going to win the game.
Do the Lions really believe they can win a game?
I certainly hope so. Well, their coach believes in them.
Look, I think every player, when you go into a game, you better have the belief that you can go win the game. And all that stuff, it's great for the media and the predictions and the billboard. Sam, as soon as that first kick goes up in the air, forget about it. The guys are playing ball.
There's 3rd and 2 with 2 tight ends in. Everybody out. Stanton runs for it, and he's got a first down. He can scramble. It's a concern for the Bears defense. We talked to Lovie Smith about it. They worry about his ability to run.
Hey, the guy was a running back in high school. He played special teams. He's going to look out to his left. Javid Best is covered out to the flat area, so he's going to take off and run. I mean, the guy has got skill sets. He had 3 runs against the Giants, Sam, when he came earlier in the year and averaged 10 yards a run. So, I mean, that guy's got ability from the waist down, and he'll use it.
And Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, certainly knows him because he was here when Stanton was drafted.
He had a lot of good things to say about Rod.
Yes, he did. And Stanton calls a timeout. Time was running down on the play clock. Lions call a timeout. There's no score, but the Lions are threatening. On the sideline on the left is Matthew Stafford. On the right, Sean Hill, numbers 1 and 2 in the quarterback rotation for the Lions, out with injuries. Stafford, the throwing shoulder. Sean Hill went down last week.
What a shame, man. I love Sean Hill, but Stafford clearly the guy here.
Off the play fake. Stanton in trouble, got rid of it, and completes it inside the 20. Burleson with a great spin move. Gets out of bounds inside the 10. A first down for the Lions.
How about Drew Stanton throwing with Brian Urlacher right in his face? Urlacher's going to come right up the gut on a blitz. Stanton's going to get it out, throw a perfect ball now. It's up to Burleson. Make one guy miss. He breaks the tackle of Tim Jennings. That's huge for the Bears now. If there's one stat when you talk to Lovie Smith about his defense, he said it's all about missed tackles. If that first guy doesn't make the tackle, usually going to be problems.
On first and goal, they go straight ahead with Maurice Morris inside the 5. Lions doing a good job on first down.
Well, what I like about him, Scott Linehan's plan is simple but effective so far. The Bears have been offering up the run with the 2 deep safeties, and so he's run it just enough, and he's called the plays that has allowed Drew Stanton to get the ball out quick with the underneath passing game.
And they go no huddle. Stanton got rid of his towel. He wanted to throw it to the official. He threw it on the ground in the end zone. Being pressured by Adonijay, and he gets rid of it and throws it away. No intentional grounding. He was out of the pocket. Big time pressure by Israel Adonijay.
You know, I talked about it earlier with Drew, how he walks that fine line today, Sammy, Drew Stanton, of, you know, the guy's a gamer. The guy is, I mean, he's one of those guys where you look at him in practice and you go, well, I don't know, and he gets in the game and there he is. He's making plays. It's going to be interesting to see how he settles into this game today. So far, so good emotionally for him.
Major right, DJ Moore in the secondary for the Bears. The Lions have the best touchdown efficiency in the red zone. Stanton goes in. He looked right, he looked left, wide open spaces. Drew Stanton takes it in. That's got to feel good for Drew Stanton. The extra point, Dave Rayner.
Love the play call. Absolutely love the play call. A little pump draw to the right. Everybody knows or thinks it's going to Calvin Johnson. Pump it out to Calvin, tuck it, and walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Great stuff. Local kid, and second start, and making some plays.
Dave Rayner kicks it off. Danielle Manning for the Bears comes up to take it at the 5. And gets up to the 25-yard line, close to the 25. And back out on the field with a little better field position this time comes Jay Cutler.
Now, can they stay patient offensively? Here's Stephon Logan. You get a great punt return. Well, run down on the kickoff, too. Get yourself in the mix. Does it get in on the tackle? A little bit.
Offensive coordinator Mike Martz, whose offense has been rolling of late with a real balance, a better balance in the last 4 games of running and passing. Bears start from the 24. Cutler goes to Hester, and he's brought down immediately. Nice play by the safety, Louis Delmas. Good tackle.
That is an unbelievable play by Louis Delmas with Frank Omiel on the pole out there to take his head off, and Delmas just undercuts it and dips it and makes a big-time tackle.
Similar to recent games, good starts in the game at Dallas. Great start on Thanksgiving against New England. Another good start to the game for the Lions. The question for them is, can they sustain it for the entire game?
Yeah, they come out on fire. Can they keep the fire burning in the 3rd and 4th quarter?
3 wide receivers. Cutler being pressured, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Almost a blind screen pass for Forte. Let's see what the Giants are doing against Washington. Here's Kurt.
Running it down their throat is what they're doing. Ahmad Bradshaw, 5-yard touchdown run. Giants have 80 yards rushing in the 1st quarter and a 14-0 lead over the Redskins. Sam and Tim.
It's cold weather, Kurt, and that's what the Giants do in cold weather. And right now they need a win to tie the Eagles for first place in the NFC East. 3rd and 9. 3 wide receivers, all right. Cutler, deep drop. and completes it to Earl Bennett. Diving, reaching for the first down marker.
Right on.
Where will they give him progress? The official lining up right at the line.
Yeah, he is right on it. Great effort by Earl Bennett. Now the question is, was his knee down as he was getting drugged before he laid out and extended the ball to the first down mark?
Bennett is...
Oh, he's gotten on a nice little roll.
Yeah, he's slowly become more and more important in the offense for the Bears. And it's a first down as they stretch the chains. Watch this effort.
Yeah, you got two guys on you. You got a middle linebacker, DeAndre Levy, who ends up finishing you off. He's coming off a nice game. Earl Bennett had 2 touchdowns last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's just playing so much faster now. I mean, he's one of those guys that faced a lot of zone, was a guy that sat down in a lot of zones. This is more about up-tempo if you're a receiver for the Bears.
Forte, the running back, takes the handoff. And a big run for Matt Forte into Lions territory to the 49. He picks up 17 on the play. Matt Forte's had some of his best games against the Lions. This is his 6th game against them.
Averages 131 yards per game from scrimmage. He looks so fast. Look at him over the last 4 games. Now, I know they've cut their reps, his practice reps, during the week of practice, and it shows up on Sundays.
They go
wild. Big bounce in his step.
They went wildcat. Bennett pitches it out to Forte. Forte is out of bounds inside the 45. They split out Cutler to the left. They went wildcat to Earl Bennett. And a little razzle-dazzle from the Bears. And it picked up 5 on the play.
And we've seen that on tape a little bit. We saw it against Philadelphia with Earl Bennett playing the wildcat position.
The good thing was Cutler didn't have to do anything except line up at the line of scrimmage.
Hold on a minute. Did Mike Martz just put his quarterback on the sideline to be a receiver?
That's right.
Have they ever morphed?
Cutler steps back and calls a timeout.
That's their second.
They've used 2 here in the first quarter.
When I say morphed, they have really morphed this offense, and there's a lot of changes when you look at it. A much more balanced attack, 22 runs per game to 34 runs per game, much fewer deep throws, which exposed by the Giants and Seattle certainly earlier in the year. The quick passing game as Cutler has just gone back and got it out. Vintage Jay Cutler style of play. And then maybe the biggest thing is Jay Cutler, Sam, has made a lot of plays with his legs. And he is, it's fun to watch. He's very athletic. I remember when he came into the league in Denver, vividly, he played at Buffalo. Mike Shanahan had him running the option, the real option. He was running it, pitching it. His legs have been a big asset for him over the last 4 games.
Chester Taylor in the backfield. The toss to Taylor. He follows Olsen. And he's got a first down. You mix in a little Chester Taylor. The coaches love him because he can run the ball, catch the ball, and he gives Forte a rest every once in a while.
And he gets a couple of nice blocks. Watch Kellen Davis here, the tight end. And, of course, Jamarcus Webb's going to pull out. Both of them will lock on and get good blocks. There's Davis with the hit on Landon Johnson, then Webb finishes him up, and now a safety is there to clean it up after the first down run. Good blocking by Kellen Davis and the right tackle, Webb.
And they've got Forte and Taylor in the backfield. Forte peels off in motion, and they hand to Taylor. Gets a couple of yards, and he's brought down at the 36-yard line.
Curious is their attack so far in the run game, and we saw Forte have the big one really right in the face of Ndamukong Suh. But here's where they've made most of their hay, right here to the left. Perimeter team out to the left at 4-7. Now they do like to run to the right as well. Yards per carry not as good. But the middle is the area where they've struggled the most, and that's certainly the strength, Sam, of this Lions defensive front.
Forte and Matamaliuna in the backfield. Cutler, deep drop. Gets time, puts it up deep for Devin Hester. Incomplete. Double coverage on the play. And well covered by the Lions, Chris Houston and Louis Delmas. There's Houston, the cornerback.
Tell you, that's one area. Now you look at these Lions, and their front 4 has been outstanding, and by far the strength of their football team, especially on defense. The back end's got 6 interceptions. When you combine the whole secondary, you got 5 to Alphonso Smith. Houston's got 1. Everybody else does not have a takeaway.
4 wide receivers in for the Bears on 3rd and 8. Cutler steps up and finds Earl Bennett for a first down at the 22. He got good protection and then stepped up, and Bennett was open.
And
14-yard pickup.
And extends the play with his legs. Look, it's cover 2. You got 2 deep safeties, so the zones are going to break down. And eventually they do. I mean, you get past 3 seconds, the zones are going to break down. You saw Bennett sitting right in the middle of one, and Cutler buys a little extra time with his legs. You got to get, if you're going to sit in that 2 deep zone, you better get quick pressure with your front 4.
Forte shifts back in the backfield. First down at the Lions 22. Forte squeezing through the hole, got a couple of yards before he was shoved back hard. Brandon McDonald in on the tackle, the cornerback. A couple of yards picked up on the play as you look at Ford Field.
It's a great stadium.
A great game, great place to do a game, great place to play a game. Good crowd on hand, a lot of Bears fans making the trip down. Three wide receivers for the Bears. Devin Aroma should do in as the 3rd. And they all go the left side. Quick to Bennett, and he's tripped up. Falls forward to the 8-yard line. What a quick release that was.
Well, that's pre-snap. They knew right away from the pre-snap. Jay Cutler knew that it was going right to his old teammate from college, Earl Bennett. Here's Earl Bennett. They already know. Bang. It's just get the ball and throw it. One step, get it out. In between the D end and the middle linebacker. That's beautiful.
13-yard pickup, 1st and goal for the Bears at the 7-yard line. 12th play of the drive for the Bears.
Watch Greg Olsen when they get down here.
Forte gets to the 5.
How about Greg Olsen, the tight end? The guy has got to be maybe the most unselfish player on the team. His versatility has been huge. First-round pick that's a tight end that loves to run routes. He's more of a wide receiver in terms of his mentality. This year, and Mike Martz said it, he goes, I don't know if the fans really understand how stressed this guy is. Playing tight end, playing fullback, playing split end, playing H-back. Versatility has been huge.
2nd and goal from the 6. Off the play fake. Cutler with time, puts it in the corner. Incomplete, flag on the play. Johnny Knox was bumped by Chris Houston. It looks like pass interference, and it'll give the Bears the ball on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, it is. Houston totally cut off Knox's path to get to the football.
Pass interference defense, number 23. The foul was in the end zone, so the ball was placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
He's going to come here and then go back out to the outside, and you're going to see Houston block his path. He's holding on him there. Clear contact with the ball in the air. Easy call.
Houston comes to the sideline. The Bears send in Kevin Schaefer as a tackle eligible. See the time remaining in the first quarter. Chester Taylor in the backfield. 1st and goal at the 1. It's Taylor. Outside and into the end zone. Touchdown Bears. An outstanding drive for the Bears. 13 plays, 7 runs, 6 passes. There's the balance we talked about in the Bears offense.
Yeah, and love the vision there by Chester Taylor. I mean, that play was designed to go off tackle. He saw the outside was wide open, bounced it around the corner.
Extra point by Robbie Gould is good. It ties the game. 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Chester Taylor.
And I mean, it's just a screw up and the forced player. I mean, you get great push right there from McBride. Now Landon's going to go in there. DeAndre Levy, neither one of them get to the outside. Landon Johnson just shot it inside. Turk McBride, the DN, did a great job. They had no support out on the edge to force it back inside. Taylor saw it. Easy touchdown for him.
Let's give a little shout out to Kevin Schaefer, who came in as a tackle eligible, made a good block on the outside for the Bears. Lions linebackers sit down with their defensive coordinator, Gunther Cunningham, Jim Schwartz. They'd like to see a little more strength on the defensive side as the Bears marched 76 yards, 13 plays to
and the beauty of that is the Bears going on long drives. They have not been good this year at 10-play drives. We saw a huge one, the 17-play drive in their game last week. But that drive right there, to me, is a perfect example and illustration of what Mike Martz and this offense has become. A commitment to the run game, get the ball out quick, let Jay Cutler, with his quick release, fire it to the playmakers.
Stephon Logan brings it out from 3 yards deep. Tripped up a little bit and brought down. Good return by Logan, brought down at the 29-yard line. We have come to the end of the first quarter, and it's a good division rivalry and a good start to this one. Lions scored first, Bears tied it 7-7, end of the first. Welcome back to Ford Field in Detroit. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan on the Fox crew. We start the second quarter. Stanton off the play fake, completes it to Brandon Pettigrew, who was pulled down by Lance Briggs. But a good pickup on first down of 8 yards. Check out the first quarter statistics. Even in rushing, slight edge to Detroit passing. Total yards are close. That's why it's 7-7.
Yeah, the 3 penalties hurt Detroit on their first drive, and then of course a real nice punt return by Logan put them in Bears territory where they could drive 38 yards for the touchdown.
On 2nd and 2 out of the shotgun, the hand of Morris, who breaks a couple of tackles. Hard run for a first down by Maurice Morris. Major Wright made the tackle. Let's go back to Minnesota and Buffalo. Here's Kurt.
We told you Tavares was in the game for the injured Brett Favre, who's now in the locker room. Jackson threw an interception, returned for a touchdown, then throws this one up. But Sidney Rice goes to get it. His first touchdown of the year, 31 yards on the score. It's all even at 7. Of course, Rice missed the first 9 games due to that hip injury, Sam and Tim.
Nice to see him back. Thanks, Kurt. That's important for the Vikings.
You know, I know nobody likes Tarvaris Jackson, the Minnesota fans. I do.
Julius Peppers going to the sideline. They check his right hand or right wrist. Henry Melton moves in his spot. Melton has been coming on and becoming a factor on the defense. End around. Here comes Stephon Logan. And his quickness shows up as a great run into Bears territory down to the 40-yard line. Charles Tillman took him down. 17-yard run by the speedy Stephon Logan.
Oh, yeah, he's got heat. Another brilliant call by Scott Linehan. Look, you got the new player in at end. You're going to run a reverse right at him. There's Henry Melton out there on Bacchus. Will Heller's going to come and be able to pick him up, log him just enough to where when they say log it, that means hook him, and gave the edge to Stephon Logan. Great call.
This time the handoff to Maurice Morris. He gets inside the 40 to the 37, a pickup of 3. That was Stephon Logan's 3rd run of the season, and that quickness showed on that play.
Yeah, and it takes a lot more than just the guy running. It's about the basics and the details. And watch this clean handoff and exchange right there in the mesh point perfectly from Drew Stanton, who does not have a lot of Sunday reps, game day reps. Sam doing that.
Blitz coming, Morris carrying, and he is brought down at the 36. Back in the lineup is Julius Peppers, so any concern by Bears fans, relax, he's fine. He lined up at the right defensive end on that last play. Marcus Harrison joins on the defensive line. Tommy Harris is there, number 91.
Tell you, so far so good if you're Drew Stanton. You got to be excited the way you played, and you're just telling yourself in your brain, just keep running the offense, stay within the system.
On 3rd down, Stanton gets time, completes to Calvin Johnson. First down at the 28-yard line. For Calvin Johnson, he has caught a pass in every game he's played in the NFL, 57 consecutive games.
Yeah, and this is his 2nd read. I love it. Outside leverage, receiver's going to go inside. You see Calvin there, and Drew Stanton gets him the football. He looked down the field first, down the seam, came right back to Calvin Johnson. That guy, if I'm Drew Stanton, that guy's got 13 to 15 targets in this game today.
Rod
Chucking
Wilson.
it up to him.
Rod Wilson comes in, number 58 for the Bears, a right linebacker. 2 backs in the backfield, Felton and Best. Best Slips away from Briggs, but then stumbled and falls forward back to the line of scrimmage. Rod Wilson was there to cover him up. Javid Best got off to the great start. Didn't have great yardage, but scored 2 touchdowns against the Bears the opening game of the season. Had 5 touchdowns in the first 2 games.
And we watched him in practice the other day, and afterwards talked to Coach Schwartz. I go, man, he looks explosive again. Jimmy said that's nothing versus what he was when he first got here to start the year.
Here's Best again. Bouncing off. And a good tackle on the play by DJ Moore. The nickelback in the defense stepped up, and Moore's done a good job for the Bears.
Yeah, and that is a big-time tackle right there, because if DJ doesn't get Javid Best down, and Javid's got all that real estate and turf in front of him, DJ Moore's just kind of burst onto the scene this year, hadn't he? I mean, the guy didn't do anything last year, really, as a 4th-round pick. This year, he's been a big player for their defense.
Here's 3rd and 10. The Lions are 4 for 5 on 3rd down conversions thus far in the game.
Watch Pettigrew.
Stanton looking, rolling. 3 Bears chasing him. There goes Peppers after him, and he throws it away. Actually, didn't throw it away. There's a flag on the play. That was almost picked by Chris Harris. Kind of a wild throw by Stanton with Peppers chasing him to the sideline.
Could have made it easy on himself and thrown it to Pettigrew, who was wide open right off the snap. There was nobody around number 84.
Pass interference, offense number 84, blocking downfield.
That's why. No.
It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
See, right away, look at all the backers are up here. He's by himself. There goes Pettigrew right down the middle of the field. If Stanton sees him, that's an easy hookup. And he goes and blocks and is still blocking and engaged. Was he engaged when that ball was in the air?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So blocking downfield while the quarterback was still behind the line of scrimmage. 2 tight ends in. They push the Lions back and basically push them out of field goal position.
It's a brutal area to have a big penalty.
Stanton completes it to Tony Scheffler, the 2nd tight end. He gets down to the 32, and now you're looking at a 50-yard field goal try for Dave Rayner. Jason Hanson has been done for the season, put on IR with a knee injury. Rayner is 4 for 6 this season. His season long of 47-yarder. There's Jason Hanson. This is a 50-yarder. The long snapper, Don Muhlbach. The holder is Nick Harris. The kick on the way. It looks good. It is good. Strong leg for Dave Rayner. The Lions regain the lead. Jason Hanson had to like that. He's back alternating with Danielle Manning on kickoff returns.
Sam, you look at the number of carries or the number of returns he's had and how many times he's put it into the end zone. He's the best returner ever in the NFL.
Rayner puts it up. Hester at the 1. Swings it, started to swing. That's a great tackle. Outstanding tackle by Bobby Carpenter. He didn't let Hester get any room to run.
I like being at the Super Bowl because
hope you relax and enjoy. This is the first of a great doubleheader day on the NFL on Fox. See the games coming up later on. A lot of good ones. Bears start from the 17. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Wanamalaiuna shifts. Taylor carries. Got a block from Jamarcus Webb. And gets across the 20 up to the 22-yard line. Cliff Averill with a tackle on Chester Taylor.
You look at the coverage today, the field position. Today, the own 33. That's the season average. Best in the NFL today, the own 18 for Chicago, their own 18. So coverage has been outstanding for the Lions.
Good start for the Lions. There's Cutler on 2nd and 4 with Taylor and Wanamalaiuna in the backfield.
Start hitting him.
Pressure. He steps up, shovel pass to Taylor. Taylor gets to the 30. Cutler improvising, had Taylor in front of him. He was about to be tackled by Cliff Averill, who's getting good pressure on the quarterback today.
You know, that's a great play by Jay Cutler, and I'll tell you why. Because you go back 5 games ago, and Mike Martz told us, and you could watch it on tape, he was in survival mode. It was panic. It was not knowing what, and a lot of that was the offensive line and the guys being unsettled in front of him and all the deep routes of the offense. Cutler's confidence is obvious right now as he's just out there playing and making plays however he has to.
Fake draw. Cutler looking to set up the screen to Taylor. That time he's wrapped up by Corey Williams. That really never got going.
Smart by Corey Williams. He read it the whole way. I mean, they blocked him. They let the other side go, and Ndamukong Suh. You'll see this side of the field, and soon these guys will get up there, and now 99 is just going to read it. He sees it, stays engaged with the blocker, then disengages, and he's right there to tackle Chester Taylor. He's a good player. I'll tell you, this defensive line for Detroit, it's got to be the biggest story here. And Ndamukong Suh's the best in the league. This guy is playing good. They really, though, Kyle Vanden Bosch, his absence, I think, will be felt today out of right end.
And there's jumping on the line. Turk McBride came across the line of scrimmage, but we'll see if he was drawn. Let's see what Ed Hockley thinks.
Offside, unabated to the quarterback, defense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's another one on the Lions. It's Turk McBride. 5th penalty on the Lions in the game. And you know that Jim Schwartz is upset with that.
Again, those are those pre-snap penalties. Penalties happen in this league. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make physical mistakes. Those are mental mistakes. Not a lot of tolerance in this league for those.
What do you do to correct that?
I don't know. I mean, I know there's a huge emphasis on the guys. D linemen should be watching the football, not listening to the cadence.
On 2nd and 5, out to Taylor again. First down yardage. Up to the 44-yard line. Chris Houston tripped him up. Chester Taylor getting good playing time and making the most of it. 9-yard pickup.
One thing when you look at these Bears wide receivers, they all block. They're not the biggest guys, but Johnny Knox has got a huge heart and a huge desire to go block. He's going to be big here as he seals Chris Houston. Watch, or he's going to end up getting McDonald, and he's just going to lock on. We've done a couple of games where he has had some big-time blocks that have popped some touchdowns for the backs behind him.
Hester and Aroma Shadu out wide. That was tipped and almost intercepted. Aroma Shadu never saw it coming. Let's find out what the Saints are doing in Cincinnati. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Saints winners of 4 straight at the Bengals, losers of 8 in a row, and looks like New Orleans has found their running back. Chris Ivory, 2 touchdowns rushing last week, a 55-yarder today. Longest touchdown run since 2003 for the Saints, and they lead it 10-6 in the second quarter. Sam and Tim.
Thanks very much, Kurt. Great race in the NFC South. Atlanta 9-2. They'll be at Tampa Bay later, and New Orleans at 8-3. Chris Ivory's had a great season. From the 44 on 2nd down, the handoff to Taylor. And Chester Taylor fights his way down to the 47 of the Lions. Another 9-yard pickup. It'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
And another good call from Mike Martz and the execution by the offense. Look at the D tackles. Look at how much room is right there at the line of scrimmage. Run a draw right at it. D tackles split. They run a game. Run a nice little stun in there and basically create nice running lanes for Chester Taylor. Terrific call from Martz.
They go with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 1. Matt Forte in the backfield. Bennett motions. The back pedal, the throw to Bennett. He's wide open. Earl Bennett still going. Refuses to go down. It takes 4 Lions to take down Bennett at the 14-yard line. On a 3rd and 1, they pick up 33 yards.
Jay Cutler going to peel right out, throw to his left. Look at that little back pedal. You know he's throwing to the left. Off coverage versus Earl Bennett. Here's where you love Earl Bennett now. His leg strength. Nobody talks about it. Mike Martz was talking about it last night. He said this guy's leg strength from the lower body, in and out of his breaks and in and out of tackles as it took, as you said there, several guys to get him to the ground. Very strong.
And Cutler saw it all the way. Good throw and a tremendous play by Bennett on first down at the 14. The toss to Forte. Gets outside. He is in. Touchdown. The Bears' offensive calls, they're mixing it up beautifully with a run and the pass, and they march down the field to another touchdown. They have the lead for the first time in the game.
Yeah, and they are hitting the Lions where they're weak. And they're weak on the perimeter at the linebacker spot, or they have been all year, and they're taking it right at Turk McBride, who's in there for Kyle Vanden Bosch. As you saw that little misdirection, weak side pitch they like to call flip 90. That was easy.
Extra point by Robbie Gould is good. Matt Forte's 5th rushing touchdown, is 8th overall.
He gets sucked down in here, quick pitch to the outside, and nobody's going to catch Matt Forte. High octane, real fast.
You hear talking to his offensive line. Robbie Gould kicks it off. Stephon Logan from 2 yards deep. They try to contain him. He tries to get outside. Good tackle on the play, bringing him down. That was Zach Bowman taking him down at the 19-yard line.
How about Greg Olsen on that Forte touchdown? Watch this block on the second level. He's going to lock up right there with the safety, Amari Spivey. Big body on little body. Easy.
Drew Stanton, the number 3 quarterback, hoping to make much of his opportunity with the 2 that we showed you earlier. Matthew Stafford and Sean Hill out injured. Starting from the 19. Being rushed, drops it off to Javid Best. Couple of blockers. Here goes Best. Trouble for the Bears. Manning angles him out of bounds. Javid Best into Bears territory to the 49-yard line. A 32-yard pickup.
Yeah, and they catch the Bears in a blitz, which is obviously going to reduce the numbers of guys that can get there in pursuit. You see Urlacher, he's going to go right up the middle there. DJ Moore coming off the side. Now watch this speed. Forget it. I mean, you got all those white jerseys chasing him. Daniel Manning has a nice angle on him and is able to push him out of bounds, but that guy's unbelievable in space when you talk about the speed for Javid Best. I think he was the best playmaker, period, coming out in last year's draft.
Javid Best with 50 receptions on the season. Another end around to Logan. This time the Bears smelled it out, and looks like a 1-yard gain on the play. Bears seemed ready for that. Peppers and Urlacher combine on the stop.
And watch Julius Peppers here. He's not going to really make the play because he's in great position, though. He's going to force it to bubble up the field. And once it bubbles up the field, you see all the white jerseys that can get there in pursuit. And that was unlike we saw the one on Henry Melton last series. Henry drove down, never had a chance to make that thing bounce or bubble. The pursuit couldn't catch up. Good play by Pep.
This play, Peppers lines up as the right defensive end. Adonijay left. Stanton throws short, completes to Pettigrew, the tight end, down to the 41-yard line. And tomorrow night, it's the American Country Awards, 8 o'clock. Eastern, 7 Central, only on Fox. It's coming to you from Las Vegas. Hope you tune in.
Clay Stanton looks pretty good in this little spread set. It's what he ran at Michigan State. 3 wides all over the place.
Blitz coming. The pass is incomplete. Broken up by Danielle Manning, the safety. Did a good job on Brandon Pettigrew. Pettigrew went to the first down marker and turned around. And a good play by Manning to break it up.
Very good play by Danielle Manning. Like the fact that Stanton got it out on time, got it to where he needed to go in terms of Pettigrew, who was his read, as you said, right on the first down sticks. But Danielle Manning came from the backside and was able to break the arms down and get the ball out.
This will be a punt, number 2 for Nick Harris. Devin Hester goes back to the 10-yard line. Harris looks toward the corner. And the ball bounces out of bounds. At the 12-yard line is where the Bears will start. Jay Cutler has been looking lately to Earl Bennett, and that's a hookup that started when they were in college at Vanderbilt. Jay was an upperclassman. Earl was a freshman. Caught 79 passes that year. Today, he's been a key man. Whether it's short, deep routes, he finds Earl Bennett. He relies on him, and he is a reliable receiver.
And you know what? He had 54 catches last year, Earl Bennett. But I think this year and what they're doing over the last 4 games suits his skill sets. It's gone to the quicker passing game. Get it to your playmakers. Let him get yards after the catch. There's no question in my mind that that's what Bennett is much better at.
Low pass juggled, held on to by Johnny Knox, and he's got a first down up to the 32. And now the Bears again starting to spread it around. Just when he goes to Bennett for a while, he switches off to Johnny Knox.
Well, they know where the Lions are weak, and they're attacking them accordingly. And why wouldn't you? Jay Cutler again, the back pedal, you know it's coming left, and you hit him right on the flank. Julian Peterson up in a little pressure, couldn't get out to the curl area. You'll see this area, which everyone calls curl to flat, this area right here on the football field, you're going to see the Bears attack that area all day.
20-yard pickup on the last play. Cutler in trouble, dumps it off to Forte. Forte gets a first down, fighting his way up to the 48-yard line. Tough to bring down. Louis Delmas finally did. 16-yard gain. Bears offense on the move again as we reach the 2-minute warning. Bears leading the Lions 14-10.
Without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
It's Kyle Vanden Bosch out with a neck injury. They miss him.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
that guy
the Bears have kept Ndamukong Suh very quiet.
And it's very simple. When you're not dominant at right end, you don't have to turn and force your protection that way. You can put 2 on Ndamukong Suh.
Pressure on Cutler, moves away, throws for Hester, incomplete. Good effort by Jay Cutler to keep the play alive, but once again there was pressure from Cliff Averill.
Yeah, there was, but again, watch, you got 2 right here on Ndamukong Suh. Garza, then you got Kreutz, they're all going to help out. And I think that's the deal. And Ndamukong Suh, without Kyle Vanden Bosch out there forcing intermittent double teams, he's going to be eating 2 blockers for the rest of this football game.
Here's 2nd and 10 for Jay Cutler and the Bears with 3 wide receivers in. They go empty backfield. Cutler feels some pressure, puts it up deep for Hester, and it's deflected away. Chris Houston with a good play. There's a flag on the play. Cutler was knocked down after he released. Let's see. Was it a holding?
There were fouls by both teams on the play, holding offense number 57, personal foul, roughing the quarterback, defense number 92. Those penalties offset. Replay 2nd down.
Kreutz the hold, the Bears center, and then the defensive end, Cliff Averill, on the roughing the passer.
Yeah, here's Averill peeling out here, hands to the head. Yeah, that's an easy one there. That's not even close.
All right, the Bears with 1 timeout remaining. 2nd and 10 on their own 48-yard line. Olsen splits out, 3 wide receivers.
Time to start feeding Greg Olsen a little bit, I think.
All right, let's see. Goes the other way and completes it. Spinning away is Johnny Knox and lunges forward to the Lions' 44-yard line, a couple of yards short of the first down. Good tackle by Alphonso Smith. Hurry up offense for the Bears.
This will bring up a very easy 3rd and manageable. That's all they got to get the first down. But look at what they've done on 3rd down in the last 4 games.
They were awful early. They've been much better during this winning streak. Cutler being rushed. The pass batted down. Turk McBride got good pressure on Cutler, and Ndamukong Suh got the hand up to bat the pass away.
Yeah, while he's being wrapped up by Roberto Garza right around the waist. There's the pressure, and then Suh's going to come up on the inside. You see, he is locked up with Garza, gets his hand up, getting wrapped up, gets the bat down. And that's how that front 4 needs to play. I mean, if Detroit's really going to have a chance, a real chance here in the second half, and be able to hang in there mentally and physically, that front 4 He's got to continue to get after it.
Good job by the Lions defense. Brad Maynard with a good high punt. Logan lets it bounce inside the 5. Bears have it surrounded, and they down it deep in Lions territory at the 9-yard line. Garrett Wolf covering it up. Tonight on Fox, you will believe in an all-new Simpsons Christmas, and Martha Stewart has the magic touch to save the season. Plus, a special gift with Katy Perry has everyone dolled up. It's an all-new Simpsons Christmas tonight at 8, 7 Central on Fox. Lions have 2 timeouts remaining. Drew Stanton, 8 for 13, 97 yards.
No, he has played well. He really has. It's been a nice attack. It's been methodical. It's been patient. That's what they have to do. I'll tell you what's hurting them right now has been the penalties. It's been the biggest problem here for Detroit once again.
2 tight ends. Javed Best in the backfield. Best looking for an opening. Bounces it outside. Watch out here. Can he beat Danielle Manning? Manning shoves him out of bounds in Bears territory at the 46-yard line. 45-yard run by Javed Best.
Watch the huge wall here. Best is going to run right into it. It looks like he's lost, and then he'll just pop out to the perimeter. Bang. Nice block by Pettigrew and Calvin Johnson out on the edge. I mean, how about that? And that's part of the benefit of being a small back. You can get lost in the wash with all those big bodies and the massive humanity, and then have the speed to hit the perimeter and get past midfield.
Longest run of the season for the Lions. This is a completion to Calvin Johnson. Heading for the corner, and he's in. Touchdown! Two plays, 91 yards.
Wow. Wow. His mentality has been like a beast all season, Calvin Johnson. Again, we were here against Washington. We saw the mentality. This guy's not going to be denied.
No.
That's touchdown number 12 on the year. He broke 3 or 4 tackles on his way to the end zone.
He ties his career high, which he set in 2008. Only Dwayne Bowe of Kansas City has scored more touchdowns than Calvin Johnson.
Very, very good throw here, too, by Drew Stanton. But watch Calvin as he's got man coverage. There's a safety over the top to help out. Bad angle from Chris Harris. You see right there. There's one straight arm broken tackle. Then nasty. Get out of here, and Calvin just takes it into the end zone. That's the physical ability and the physical mismatch that he is every Sunday with defenders. Watch this. He's going to take it inside. There he beats the man to the inside. Now bad angle from Harris. There's one straight arm missed tackle, and then here's the nasty straight arm. No chance. The advantage of those kind of straight arms when you're 6'6" with really long arms. I mean, those little guys, you straight arm, your arm's so long, they can't get to your legs to wrap you up.
Javed Best went 45 yards.
Yeah, the hide
on the first play.
The hide and pop. I'm going to get right behind it. Oh, see a little open daylight, and then turn on the juice.
And then it was Drew Stanton to Calvin Johnson for 46 yards. 2 plays, 91 yards, and the Lions have the lead again.
So impressed with Jimmy Schwartz and this football team. The record does not speak to what these Lions really are.
I agree with you. Dave Rayner.
Calvin's just not having it, though, Sam.
That's right.
I love that.
Devin Hester on the return. And he gets up to the 24-yard line where he's brought down. Calvin Johnson, 4 seasons in the NFL, 33 touchdowns, and that breaks a franchise record.
Tell you, a point to be made from, and Scott Linehan, I think it's got to go right to him with the little amount of time that was left on the clock. 55 seconds. They have their backs against the wall. A lot of teams, Sam, with their third quarterback against this Bears defense would have taken a knee and gotten to the locker room.
Bears decide they're going to do just that to collect themselves.
But how about the Bears defense letting them down? Lovie Smith has to be concerned. Missed tackles have hurt the Bears in the first half. Coming up, the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have an update on the 49ers and the Packers in Green Bay, as well as a look as the NFC East showdown. Right here in Detroit, the Lions, another strong first half. Can they keep it up for the full game? They lead the Bears at halftime, 17-14. Barbara. We are back at Ford Field in Detroit, where the Lions have a 17-14 lead over the Chicago Bears. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hammond will have her field report in just a moment. For the Detroit Lions, they've had the lead at halftime the last 3 games, against Dallas, against New England, now against the Bears. The question is, can they sustain it? They haven't been able to do it the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think the big thing for them, Sam, is it's not physical. Clearly, they can play with the Chicago Bears today. They've got already 250-plus yards of offense against an outstanding Bears defense. But the question is do they believe they can win? And they come out in the third quarter, as Louis Delmas, the safety, told us the other day, and he said, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a penalty, anything bad happens, that voice inside of every one of our players goes, oh no, we don't think we can win. We don't believe we can win. They better find that belief today from the neck up, because physically, Sam, they got a great chance to stay in and win this football game.
Drew Stanton, you saw him. He's done an excellent job. Jay Cutler getting set. The Bears will get the ball to start the second half. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL.
Think about Lovie's defense. 2 of the last 4 games coming into this one, they did not allow the opponent 240 yards of total offense. The Lions, with their third quarterback and Drew Stanton, have already cranked up 253. That's a shock.
The missed tackles we talked about, and Lovie emphasized that in our meeting with him. For Jim Schwartz, he talked about the most important thing is winning on Sunday. Bears receive the kickoff to start the second half, and he's had his team ready to go. On the return, it's Devin Hester. Slipped 1 tackle, then he is ridden out of bounds. An outstanding play by Amari Spivey. The rookie safety grabbed hold and just took his man out at the 21-yard line. Let's go down to the field for an update at halftime from Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer.
All right, thanks, Sam. And I talked to Jim Schwartz at the half, and he said as far as Drew Stanton's playing, he just has to keep on being Drew. Guys around him are making plays, and that is the most important thing. He said what we have to do in the second half is not be content. We put up 17 points on a team that typically allows 12 points per game on the road. We've got to stay after them. As for the defense, the Bears, they certainly aren't tackling very well. Lovie acknowledged that, but he said we've just got to make sure we give our offense a chance to score. They're playing well.
Thank you, Jennifer. On first down, Matt Forte carries, gets 4 up to the 25-yard line. DeAndre Levy, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Take a look at first half statistics. The Lions, 253 yards. That's what Tim talked about. Penalties have been a factor on the negative side for them. The Bears offensively have done fine. Defensively, they've got to play better.
Very good, but here's the deal. If you're the Bears, you feast on taking the ball away. Detroit has yet to turn it over in this football game.
Bears have had a couple of good drives in the first half. Pressure on Cutler. They got him for the sack. And he fumbled the ball, and the Lions recovered. The ball came out. The ball knocked out by Cliff Averill, recovered by Turk McBride. Lions have the ball at the Bears 9.
Cliff Averill is so good. I'm telling you, this guy is underrated. Here you're going to see him coming from Cutler's right. Jay's looking to the right. He'll come right in his face. He hangs on. The ball comes out. McBride is able to finish it off, but that's going to go as a sack and a forced fumble for Cliff Averill. McBride will end up with the fumble recovery, but Averill has been so ready. So ready, Sam, for a breakout game. He's got 2 sacks today.
First turnover of the game. And the Lions, first and goal at the 9. 3 wide receivers. They hand to Morris. He gets a yard down to the 8-yard line. Brian Urlacher in on the tackle.
Big challenge down here for the Bears, stopping the Lions. The Lions are the best team in the NFL in red zone production. Touchdown efficiency, believe it or not. And that's because they got the best red zone player in the NFL. That guy right there, Calvin Johnson.
And they've had one today on the run by Stanton. He turns to throw. He's got time. Nobody open. Stanton trying to buy some time. Peppers rides him out of bounds.
Ooh.
Well, that's the danger that you face when you're running with a Julius Peppers.
And that's what I was talking about earlier with Stanton. You love the fact that he's trying to make the play, but just throw it away. Just throw the ball away. You're outside the pocket. And Kyle Vandenbosch getting his defensive line teammates revved up.
He did a lot of talking with Turk McBride during the first half. Jennifer Hammond down on the field told us there was a lot of coaching up. The Bears are without Nick Roach. He injured a hip. He was starting in place of Pisatino Samoa in this game. Everybody out. Stanton goes to Pettigrew, the tight end. He's brought down immediately. DJ Moore, good tackle. So the Lions fail to capitalize as far as getting the ball in the end zone. They've got a chance to add 3 to their lead here as they go to the field goal route. Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, talking with the head coach, Jim Schwartz. That was a strong defensive series by the Bears.
Absolutely. Not easy when you come out and you get a sudden change right away and you go out and you got your backs against the wall and expected to keep the best red zone offense out of the end zone.
Dave Rayner.
Big time for the Bears.
Perfect from 25 yards, his second field goal of the game. The Bears turned the ball over, but the defense came up with a strong effort.
Hey, Sam, remember at halftime I was talking about Louis Delmas, and he said they come out in the second half and their mindset is, as the Lions, they're just sitting around waiting for something negative to happen and then unable to respond. What I like is they did exactly the opposite. They didn't wait for a negative. They made a positive happen with Cliff Averill getting to the quarterback, knocking it out. There's Cliff. They're talking to Ndamukong Suh and McBride on the recovery. 3 points they get out of it.
Dave Rayner kicks off. Danielle Manning steps up to the 2-yard line and returns. A couple of cutbacks. Manning spinning with a good return up to the 27-yard line. Jay Cutler went back to pass, was pulled down, a sack, fumbled, and the Lions got 3 points out of it. Rod Marinelli is the defensive coordinator for the Bears. He was the head coach here with the Lions for 3 seasons. Bears start from the 28. Forte up to the 31-yard line. And all the Bears defensive players will talk about Rod Marinelli and say he's all about attitude, but he also breaks down plays and makes the players better, and he's a specialist with a defensive line.
Well, expertise is certainly is how you would classify him. You'd classify him an expert in defensive line play. Was he a great head coach? I don't know. How many great coaches have been in Detroit with all the losing? I know this. He is arguably the best defensive line coach in all of pro football.
Quick pitch to Bennett. That's a first down. There again is that quick toss right off the line, and Cutler getting it to Earl Bennett. And again, the Bears start to move the ball. Offensively, they've been effective in the game. That turnover certainly hurt. Bears from the 39-yard line. Bennett with 5 catches for 77 yards in the game. 3 wide receivers. Brandon McDonald in as a 5th defensive back for the Lions. Draw play, Forte. Trying to kick it outside. And Ndamukong Suh with a good tackle to bring him down. Excuse me, it was Julian Peterson, the linebacker, in on the stop.
Tell you the thing that's most impressive in watching Ndamukong Suh, and all the numbers will match up, and they'll tell you that he's having a great year with the 8 sacks and everything Ndamukong is able to do with the defensive line. But the guy's motor and his stamina is what's especially noticeable to me. I mean, he's out there for almost every snap. Yeah. He's going to play 60 to 75 snaps a game, and he's always got a lot of gas left in the tank. He's got tremendous stamina for a defensive tackle.
Olsen motions, 2 tight ends. Forte trying to cut it back. And a good tackle on the play. Short gain up to the 45-yard line. Corey Williams grabbed hold of his ankle and wouldn't let go.
And both D tackles do a great job here. And Ndamukong Suh and Corey Williams both forced that cutback. But watching Ndamukong Suh and what he's been able to do this year. And there's a big-time sack on Aaron Rodgers. Here's one on Donovan McNabb. Boy, he's got nasty intentions, too, when he gets to the quarterback. You love that. Gets Tom Brady, and now a little touchdown. Turns and looks at Santana Moss. What are you doing? Get off of me. Oh, he's fun to talk to, too.
Great guy.
Super smart. Here he is from the stand-up. This is going to give Chicago some problems with their protection declaration.
Blitz coming. Pressure on Cutler trying to get away from Levy. He does, and he runs for a first down. Took a hard hit, but Cutler, he may be shaking a little bit. Now he's helped up by Johnny Knox. He's okay. Cutler running away from DeAndre Levy, the middle linebacker, and he got a first down.
Yeah, and good thing he dipped at the last second because 26 is about to take his head off. Watch Louis Delmas here. Lower the boom on Jay Cutler. Now, when a quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage and tucks the ball, he becomes a runner. Right? It's all fair game. Helmet to helmet, hat to hat, face mask to helmet. It doesn't matter. And Cutler, one quick duck out of the way of maybe some big-time damage. That guy can hit right there, Delmas.
Chester Taylor in the backfield for the Bears from the Lions 48. It's Taylor, a couple of blockers, and he's hit. Oh, great play by Spivey. The rookie safety Amari Spivey with a good hit.
Here's Spivey. He's down in this run box for the Bears. And watch all the guys up front do their job, which is going to force it to the outside. Spivey will be right where he needs to be to make the tackle. Landon Johnson ends up taking on two guys. Spivey sitting right there in the hole. And that's what you look for. You want your free safety to have a one-on-one shot on the backer. He's got to make the play. Spivey did it.
Lawrence Jackson in at defensive end for the Lions, number 94. 2nd and 11. Taylor tries again. Gets a couple down to the 46-yard line. Lawrence Jackson made the tackle. The guy they picked up from Seattle, a former first-round draft pick of the Seahawks.
Watch this big defensive tackle and his burst through Chris Williams right here. Oh, that's going to go on Olin Kreutz. That's just pure power. You get that 330 started and Corey Williams, you're not going to slow it down. Kreutz just found that out.
Big third down play for the Bears. They are 4 for 6 on third down conversions. Cutler, pressure, they got him. Sacked for the third time in the game. Cliff Averill again. He's had a big game for the Lions, stepping up with Vanden Bosch out. It's Averill coming up big with the quarterback pressure.
I told you, he can be dominant. Now, here's the problem with Chicago. They get into the third and longs. Now it's going to take time for the pass plays to develop, the pattern. So Cutler's going to get back. He's going to hold it. He's going to hold it. He gets flushed from Sammy Lee Hill right there. And then Averill is able to clean it up. That is a coverage sack, Sam, based on long down and distance. Takes time for those routes to develop. Protection couldn't hold up.
So they force a punt with a good defensive play. Brad Maynard's third of the game is a good high kick. Looked like Logan wanted to wait for a fair catch, let it go, and it's covered down at the 3-yard line by Kellen Davis. Boy, Maynard has done that his entire career. 50-yard punt, no return. Lions are backed up, but they lead it.
Fox is sponsored by Burger King. Have it your way.
See the numbers on Jay Cutler. 21 times sacked on third down. 40 times this season he's been sacked, more than any other quarterback. Cliff Averill, we know he's definitely been credited with 2 and maybe a third sack as well. Javid Best gets up to the 5-yard line. Let's check out those sacks and the job that Cliff Averill has done in this game.
Yeah, this is going to be the first one. Averill comes crashing through the line. Here's the one right in the third quarter. Now, who knocks this ball out? If Averill knocked it out, that's Averill's sack and forced fumble. And then here, clearly, it's Cliff Averill. Cutler steps up. He swallows him up with the big wingspan. Rod Marinelli, I know Rod drafted him. We were just talking about Rod Marinelli. I remember the day he drafted him. He said, that guy is going to be a real special player. It's coming to fruition.
Best trying to get outside. Bears wrap him up at the 7-yard line, led by Israel Adonijay.
Donajay, such a great story, has stepped up this season, is 7th in the NFL. This is a guy who's just step by step made himself a better player. Today he's off special teams because he's such an important part of the defense.
Yeah, those special teams are getting ready to have an impact here if Detroit can't pick up this first down. That big, long 50-yarder by Maynard, which pinned him down here, if they're forced to punt, Sam, with their backs against the end zone, field position, big time for Chicago.
3 wide receivers for the Lions. Everybody out. Stanton from the end zone. Dropped. Try to get it to Pettigrew. He had it in his hands. He should have held on. That was a catchable ball.
Yeah,
but the Lions go 3 and out deep in their own territory.
And again, field position going to really favor the Bears here. Pettigrew just turns his head and looks. You see there? See, as he was trying to corral the ball and pluck it out of the air, he turned his head to see the defenders that were converging on him for the big hit. Chicago, very physical on the back end, will force tight ends and receivers to think about it before they catch the rock underneath.
Hester's at midfield. Nick Harris is 8 yards deep in his end zone. Hester backpedals, takes it at the 40. Puts upfield, watch out!
How do you punt to him?
He is upended by Harris, the punter. Otherwise, he would have had an NFL record.
How do you punt to him? And I asked Jim Schwartz that on Friday. I said, are you going to punt to Devin Hester? He said, heck no.
Well, guess
if we
what?
do punt to him, it's going to be directional punting. They kick this right down the middle of the field, and then the magic of Hester takes over. Lucky that Nick Harris is able to save it.
Saved a touchdown with a great tackle. 29-yard return by Devin Hester off a 53-yard punt. You can see the head coach of the Lions is really upset.
I'm yelling at the special teams coach right now if I'm Jimmy Schwartz.
Chester Taylor in the backfield. The Bears start from the Lions 31. Draw play to Taylor. Bounces it outside. Slips. Flag on the play. They came from the umpire who talks things over with Ed Hockley, our referee.
I'm going to see if I can get a helmet and go down there and block for Hester on the return stuff.
Offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's on Greg Olson, the tight end, and that hurts the Lions.
Hurts the Bears. Going to push
the
them back.
Bears, excuse me.
I mean, think of Hester, who is 1 return away from NFL history, the most prolific ever. And you look at his numbers, it's just remarkable. But imagine being one of the guys blocking for him, the other 10 guys on that return unit.
He's upset that he didn't take it all the way.
Of course he is. That whole uniform would have been on its way to Canton already.
That's right. 1st and 20. 3 wide receivers in. Devin Aromashodu is the 3rd wide out. With Knox and Bennett. Taylor broke a tackle. And another one, and gets down to the 34-yard line. Picked up 7 on the play.
Remember we were talking about Jimmy Schwartz kicking out of bounds, telling his guys, heck no, I'm not kicking it to Hester. Yeah, I think he's a little agitated that one went right down the middle of the field.
That's one upset head coach, Devin Hester, on the sideline, trying to collect himself.
See, the worst thing for Hester is that it was a punter, that guy right there, that brought him down. Devin may be able to live with it if it was an outside backer or a defensive back. Punter?
3 wide receivers to the left. This is 2nd and 13 for the Bears.
Same play they hit Earl Bennett on the quick one earlier.
Cutler looked at Bennett, gets rushed, and down he goes. Landon Johnson, the linebacker, coming from the left side. 4th sack of the game. All right, let's find out what's happening in Green Bay. Kurt Menefee's got the story.
It's been a while since we mentioned this combination. Aaron Rodgers to Donald Driver. Driver, good. Make a great second effort. 61-yard touchdown reception. First touchdown for Driver since week 4. And the Packers go up by 8 over San Francisco. Sam and Tim?
Wow. Thanks, Kurt. Packers will be here in Detroit next week. Tim and I will be here to do that game. Listen to the crowd. The Bears are back at the 40-yard line. Have to get to the 21. And they stop the play.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Let's go back to that sack where Jay Cutler, again, you get a nice blitz from Landon Johnson off the edge. Let's watch Cliff Averill, too, peel up inside. Yeah, that's going to be Avril's sack. That's going to be Cliff Avril's sack. He ran out of the hands of Landon Johnson, was still on his feet. It's the fourth time today Cliff Avril has had his hands on the quarterback and got him to the ground.
Hester's back into the game. They've got to get to the 21 for a first down. Cutler dumps it off. Chester Taylor bounce off one man, gets down to the 36-yard line. It brings up a 4th and 15.
I'll tell you, this front four for Detroit is really starting to control this football game. Since we got in here to the second half, and I said it in the second quarter, I said, look, if that front four, even without Vanden Bosch, who's out today, doesn't play their tails off and dominate the line of scrimmage, the Lions will be in trouble. They're starting to dominate. They have been here since the second half started.
Bears looking for points. This will be a 54-yard field goal try. Maynard the holder, Manley the long snapper. It'll be a career long if he makes it. It is good. It's good. It got inside the upright. A 54-yard field goal for Robbie Gould. The longest field goal of his career. It cuts the Lions' lead to 20-17.
Plus, it's our fastest, most durable paint with superior color accuracy. I'm guessing you don't miss the stripes?
We don't miss the stripes at all.
Experience. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Strong leg of Robbie Gould. Puts 3 points on the board for the Bears. Now he kicks off. Stephon Logan, 5 yards deep, takes a knee. This has been a good one. The Lions hanging tough with the Bears and leading them 20-17.
Bigger with the extended cut.
Any questions?
Great offensive work by the Lions. Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, and Drew Stanton has been carrying out the game plan perfectly.
Yeah, the plan's been solid, to say the least. The execution's probably been better from Drew Stanton.
Lions start from the 20. They were 3 and out their last possession. Stanton off the play fake, gets it to Pettigrew. He's up to the 26-yard line. Pick of a 6 on the play.
And you love it. He's just staying on schedule. They're moving the pocket for him. And when I say staying on schedule, he's not taking negative plays. He's not getting them into the long down and distance plays. He's been very good on third down. The Bears are the best in the league on third down and defending third down. He's been 44% today. That's pretty good.
He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. They have Matthew Stafford and Sean Hill under contract. They brought in Zach Robinson. So he'll be looking for a job. And he's playing for one. This is Morris straight ahead for a couple of yards. Did the ball come out?
Sure looked like it.
The Bears think it did. They're fighting for the ball in the pileup. They're still wrestling for it.
Look at the leg. You get your legs and everything into it when you got it on the pile. I got to see who this is when he comes popping out. Look at the Bear. Ed Hockley's got him by the leg.
I like what DJ Moore did. He was pointing the wrong way, so he got on the other side of the pileup to point the right way.
Just follow the legs.
All right, who's got it, boys? They're still untangling. Mr. Sherrillis, the big tackle, gets up. We've had no. Okay, Ed.
The ball was fumbled. However, both players had an equal hold on the ball under the pile. That is by rule a simultaneous possession, and therefore it's awarded to the offense. It's third down.
Wow. Good explanation by the referee.
And those were Israel Adonijah's legs that were popping up in the air. He was doing everything he could to hold on to it on the bottom there. It's clearly out. And you can see, look at Lance Briggs trying to peel it out from under the player. And then here's Adonijah's hands. Adonijah's got it first. Wow. And it looked like Raiola was in the mix there too. And Hockley, when you can't figure it out, you make the right call and give it back to the offense.
On 3rd and 2, Stanton throws, completes to Calvin Johnson. First down up to the 40-yard line.
You mentioned Drew Stanton earlier and free agent. Make no mistake about it. This cat's playing for his NFL future right here, and it's probably not in Detroit. It's for 31 other teams around the league, and he's handling the pressure perfectly.
Well, as Jim Schwartz said earlier in the week, he can go from who is that guy to we wanted that kind of guy on our team.
Well, that's like a basketball game when a guy takes an outside shot for the game winner, and you're saying, no, 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 and then he drains it, and you go, yes, nice shot.
Two tight ends in. Javid Best in the backfield.
He's a gamer.
Best carrying. Breaks through. Good game, boy. Every time now that Javid Best carries, you think about him just busting a long one as he did in the first half with that 45-yard run. Javid Best with 8 carries for 65 yards in the game.
I think that you look at these Lions, the Bears have only given up 3.6 yards per carry all year. These Lions are figuring out at the line of scrimmage, physically they can match up with Chicago. Both sides of the ball, the Lions are playing good, especially here in the second half for the Lions.
Rod Wilson, the third linebacker in for the Bears, replacing Nick Roach. Stanton in trouble, gets away. Dives forward. Took a hit from Urlacher. Very close to the first down line. Looks like it might be a little short. Julius Peppers with big pressure on Drew Stanton. Come to the end of the third quarter, and the Lions maintain the lead. It's a 20-17 Lions lead. End of 3 quarters in Detroit. Back at Ford Field in Detroit, Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hammond. Fourth quarter begins. Lions 3rd and 1 at the 49. Maurice Morris, the running back. Quarterback sneak by Drew Stanton. He didn't need much.
Yeah, he may have got it with the second effort. Israel Adonijah was right there to wrap him up.
Where do they give him forward progress to? We'll have to have a measurement on this one.
Well, that spot right there does not. I mean, this isn't official, but that spot definitely doesn't look like it was good enough for the first down.
Rod Marinelli checking out his defensive crew as they stretch the chains.
Yeah, he's short.
But not by much. About an inch. About an inch on fourth down. And Jim Schwartz will go for it. What do you think?
Well, 2 and 9, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 9 and 2,
right.
and you believe in the way your defense is playing, you punt it. But at 2 and 9, 0 and 8, 0 and 18 in your last 18 division
That's
games.
Right. That's incredible.
Is that a real stat?
That's a real stat. They haven't won a division game since October of 2007 when they beat the Bears. 4th and an inch. The sneak.
They got it.
They got it now. Oh, they get nasty in those pileups. Gosder Sherrillis, the right tackle involved. Ryan Urlacher was there.
Surprised Raiola's not right in the middle of it. It's Peterman, the right guard.
Stanton's got to get his helmet back on. First down.
Going to go right behind his center, Raiola. Look at him just driving the legs. Driving the legs, gets his helmet ripped off. He's still going to reach out for the line of gain to get the first down. Really impressed with him with a lot of pressure today. He's playing like a quarterback. He's managing the game. He's making enough plays that kind of defy the X's and O's, just extending a couple of things with his legs. He's having a very solid game.
Everyone talks about him as being a tough competitor who can make plays and get the job done, and he's showing that. Looks like a little option and the flip to Maurice Morris. It's down inside the 45-yard line.
That's the stuff he ran at Michigan State. Real simple. He's going to read the defensive end, and he's going to pitch it out to the running back and make the play on Peppers. Peppers just got so much juice, and he's so fast for a 300-pounder. It's kind of a classic conflict.
In the third quarter, Peppers rode Stanton out of bounds, got credit for a sack on that. It was his 7th sack of the season.
5th sack in the last 2 games.
Out of the shotgun. Stanton gets rid of it quickly, completes it. Nate Burleson with a catch. Burleson was busy in the first quarter, has been quiet since then. He gets down close to the 40-yard line.
The eyes of a quarterback. He sees this coming. Here's DJ Moore, slot blitz. He's going to fire it right to where the blitzer came from.
Good job.
Let's go, guys.
Javid Best in the backfield. It's 3rd and 1. Derek Williamson is the third wideout, but it's Best stopped short. Bears defense. Julius Peppers leading the way. Urlacher got there. DJ Moore got there, but it was Peppers making the play.
Yeah, once the front side gets the penetration, watch these guys get the penetration. It's going to force it to cut back. And as soon as it has to cut back, right there, Peppers and Urlacher are waiting for it. They'll get the credit on the stat sheet, and it was a big-time play, but it was the front side of the defense that really built the wall, Sam, and pushed them into the backfield, forced the cutback.
And here's another 4th and 1.
That was a huge play by Peppers.
As the Lions go for it with a 3-point lead. Stanton. And it was movement.
Yeah,
Penalty on the play. They stopped the play. Looks like a false start. A bit of a discussion here.
Looked like Peterman, the right guard, went early.
Before there was a false start, there was a timeout called by Detroit.
Okay.
That's their first.
How about that? That came from the sideline.
Look at Jimmy. Yeah, I got you.
They wanted to set up the 4th and 1. Would have been a bad pre-snap penalty. Instead, it's a timeout to talk it over.
Love that look.
Logistics to work for you. And by Subway Restaurants. Try the meltastic new Chipotle chicken and cheese today.
Fourth and 1 for the Lions. Jerome Felton in at fullback. Fake the handoff. Stanton throws, and it's incomplete. DJ Moore was all over Nate Burleson. And that, I didn't like that play at all.
Yeah. I do like it for the fact that at least the quarterback's got a run-pass option, but it was clear it was all pass the whole way. I mean, as soon as he got out to the perimeter, he unloaded it to a very well-covered Nate Burleson. Yeah, that was that's one where you would have liked to play it out a little bit, improvise a little bit, use your legs a little bit, and who knows what will happen. But the quick read out to the perimeter to a covered receiver, that wasn't good.
Bears start from their 40. Go empty backfield as Forte motions. Cutler. Wide open is Forte, and he's upended by Spivey. But he gets down to the 39, make it the 39-yard line of the Lions.
Classic cover 2 beater. They got 2 deep safeties. That means typically they're going to have 5 guys in underneath coverage, 4 guys rushing. And he's just going to come right here, right behind the backers and in front of the safeties. You see that? You got 2 deep safeties. You get behind the backers. You slide right into that hole. That's the hole in the cover 2 defense. Perfectly read and then executed from Jay Cutler to Forte.
20-yard pickup. 3 wide receivers in. Draw play Chester Taylor. And he stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Good work up front. And Ndamukong Suh leading the way that time. And you can hear up from the crowd that Sue.
And I've got no problem with the play call because the Bears are offering it. They've got 4, or excuse me, the Lions are offering it. They've got 4 at the line of scrimmage, the linemen, and they got safeties back deep. Run at it. That's how you get those safeties to come up, but you got to be able to block their defensive tackles one-on-one. And Ndamukong Suh just tossed around Roberto Garza and got him a nice tackle for loss.
3 wide receivers. Taylor in the backfield. Cutler dumps it off to Taylor, who made a good catch and is brought down at the 34-yard line. Give him forward progress close to the 33. Brandon McDonald made the tackle. Swatted at the 34, brings up a 3rd and 4.
I would have loved to play for Gunther Cunningham.
Oh, he is something.
You meet with him on Fridays or Saturdays if it's a road game and they come in, I promise you want to put on a helmet and go play.
But his biggest work was getting the psyche back after that fall apart on Thanksgiving to the Patriots. Here's 3rd and 4.
Time for a huge stop for his defense.
3 wide receivers. Bennett motions. Cutler to Bennett. He's got it. Down to the 22-yard line. That's been his key man, his go-to guy in this game has been Earl Bennett, his 6th catch of the game for 89 yards.
Man coverage, they roll the corner over with him right there, and Alfonso Smith, he runs the in-cutting route. Safety late coming up and making the play. I'm telling you, that's what suits Earl Bennett. His skill sets, the quick passing game underneath, let him break a tackle. He's been magnificent today.
And the Bears 5 for 9 on 3rd down. We talked about how they had trouble earlier in the season. Rasheed Davis is in at wide receiver number 81 as the 3rd wideout. Cutler rolling and looking. After him is DeAndre Levy. He broke the tackle. What a run, and he got hit hard. Flag on the play. And Ndamukong Suh gave him a forearm to the back.
Right to the back of his head is what it looked like. And if it was to the back of the head, it's clearly a penalty. I'm telling you, Ndamukong Suh, when he gets to the quarterback, he wants to wreak havoc. Now, is Jay Cutler a runner here? That's the question.
All right.
Past the line of scrimmage as a runner.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
Now.
Defense, number 90, went to the head and the back of the runner with his forearm. That is unnecessary and by rule of foul. That ball was added to the end of the run.
Yeah, it was more of a push. It was more of a push than a forearm. Watch his right hand extend. This to me did not look like a forearm as much as a two-hand shiver. Bang, right there. It wasn't a forearm wing. And Jimmy Schwartz says he's crossed the line of scrimmage. He's a runner. You can come extend guys with a two-handed punch. That wasn't a wing to the back of the head.
No.
That was a two-hand punch.
No.
Watch his right arm. It extends straight. It doesn't come with a wing and the elbow on the back of the head.
Fans reacting as the play is replayed on the big board here, the video board. Nevertheless, it's ruled unnecessary roughness. Bears have the ball first and goal at the Lions 7 with Manumaleuna and Forte in the backfield. Cutler looking. Manumaleuna. He's in. They don't use him all that much, but Manumaleuna is very valuable. Came out of the backfield, and he is one big man, tough to take down. Bears take the lead.
Yeah, huge size mismatch right there. Spivey had him in coverage, and then you're asking Spivey to tackle 300 pounds when he gets the ball. Jimmy Schwartz is upset. No, Mike's down there throwing see Tice throwing the little forearm. That's clearly not what happened watching Ndamukong Suh on Cutler. Now, can the Lions respond? Is this one of those negative things that happen that totally get them down?
They have time. Robbie Gould for the extra point try. The Bears, the defense stopped the Lions on 4th and 1. The offense has gone 60 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. The Bears have a 24-20 lead. Brandon Manumaleuna, only his 4th catch of the season, his first touchdown. With an unnecessary roughness penalty that gave the Bears the ball first and goal. Manumaleuna with his first touchdown of the season on the short pass from Jay Cutler. Stephon Logan, 3 yards deep, brings it out. Couple of blockers. Slips by. Logan turns it into a big one. Chased from behind and forced out of bounds by Rasheed Davis. Another great return by Stephon Logan. Gives the Lions great field position. And now we want to bring in our man from the command center, Mike Pereira, former head of officials of the NFL. Mike, as we talk about that penalty on Ndamukong Suh, what did you see?
Well, you know, Tim's right. Once the quarterback clears the line of scrimmage, and Sam, you too, he is a runner. But the rule does stay in Rule 12. You cannot deliver a forearm to the back of the head of any player.
But, Mike, I don't think it was a forearm. I think if you go back and watch it and look, I know it's hard for those guys in real time to see and whether Ed saw it was a wing or a forearm or an elbow or not. But we went back and watched it on slow-mo, and to us it was clearly an overt extension of both arms, more of a two-hand shiver than the forearm wing.
Yeah, and of course, when you do look at it in slow motion, as you know, it makes it look so different. But that's a judgment call, and that's purely a judgment call. You have to live with that. They're not going to protect the quarterback any more than any other runner in that situation, but it's a call that's all judgment.
Mike, thanks so much for the explanation. Always love to hear from Mike Pereira and the way he sees things from the eyes of the officials. And you saw Jim Schwartz had a lengthy conversation with Ed Hockley on the sideline. It got heated toward the end because he disagreed, but Ed Hockley did explain and showed him what he saw on that call.
And to give Ed the benefit of the doubt, I don't think it was the right call, but the way that Ed saw it in real time when it's moving that fast, he's got to make that judgment. If you think it was a chicken wing, make the judgment call. But watch Suh's hands. Palms are open, and to me, it's clearly a two-handed shiver. Both hands open. He's going to push right on the back of the shoulder pad of Jay Cutler. And that is a legal tackle, a legal hit on a quarterback that's crossed the line of scrimmage.
Stephen Peterman, the right guard, was shaken up on the play. He's walking under his own power and telling the trainers, I'm all right, I'm all right. Dylan Gandy, number 65, replaces him at right guard. You had a 60-yard return by Stefan Logan to give the Lions great field position. Will Heller caught a pass, his first of the season. The tight end, the third tight end. Here's a 3rd and 3. Stanton. Javid Best, rather Maurice Morris out of the backfield. Where will they give him forward progress? Morris puts it on the line, which he doesn't see. The officials agree, and it looks like he'll get enough for the first down.
I'll tell you, very young football team, the Lions. They've run the gamut, the ebb and flow of the emotions today. Up, down, good things have happened, bad things have happened. Jimmy Schwartz and his club, you got to keep believing. And I got to tell you, a team that has not won very many games, a franchise, and you all know the story on the number of wins. It's hard to find your mojo when you don't have a lot of feathers in your cap.
Right.
You haven't done it.
They're trying to find ways to win. They have lost a lot of close games in this season. They've faltered late in games. It's a first down at the 34. Stephen Peterman is back in, number 66, the starting right guard. For the Bears, they need their defense to come up with something big. The Packers have now opened up a big lead on San Francisco. Heller, the tight end, goes in motion. Stanton, big rush. DJ Moore got there. This time, Moore got there on the blitz. Second sack of the game for the Bears. One by Peppers, one by DJ Moore.
And they squeeze the running back in protection. Urlacher's coming here. Now, if you're Maurice Morris, do you take the slot defender or do you take Urlacher? He's got to make a decision. He peels to Urlacher inside. DJ Moore runs around Brandon Pettigrew. And that is a huge, huge play at that spot on the field, knocking him right out of field goal range, or at least the opportunity to get closer.
Everybody out. Stanton throws short. It was a low throw and ruled incomplete. Tried to get it to Calvin Johnson.
I mean, that is the sack zone. We hear a lot of guys. You hear Norv Turner talk about it. The offensive guys, I know Mike Martz, and those guys are all over it. Scott Linehan. You get down in this part of the field, and they were down at about the 35-yard line. That's the sack zone. The biggest thing that you've got to prevent as an offense is taking a sack.
That sack for DJ Moore, his first career sack in the NFL. Here's a big third down play. Lions have to get to the Bears' 24. Stanton, being rushed. Short to Scheffler, and he's brought down at the 40-yard line. Safety valve to the tight end, Tony Scheffler.
You see what that cover two does when you get a big play like that? You get a sack, you get a huge negative play. Now it forces a third and super long. You just jump in that cover two deep safeties. You have 7 guys back in coverage. You give it to them underneath. You rally up, make the tackle, and make them punt. That sack, Sam, was huge.
Now the Lions looking to play field position. Devin Hester is back deep at his 10-yard line. Nick Harris will try to pin the Bears back deep. High punt. Hester lets it go. Lions try to cover it. It's into the end zone for a touchback. Not what they wanted. It's a 40-yard punt, but it only nets 20 yards. Bears start from the 20 when we come back. Bears start from the 20. Gunther Cunningham's defense has done a good job in this game to keep the Lions in it. They need to come up with a big series here.
Yeah, he's going to have to take some chances and play some tight coverage, some tight defense.
Forte gets outside, and that's a big pickup. First down pickup of 10 for Matt Forte. Spivey, the safety, took him out of bounds.
Now with the Bears, you want to run the ball, you want to chew the clock, you want to get into your 4-minute drill, you want to lean on your offensive line. And that's what I'm telling you. If you're Gunther Cunningham and I say play tight, that means tight to the line of scrimmage. You got to get an extra body up there to defend the run and put 8 guys in the box to defend the run game. Make sure you don't get gashed there. And you better play tight coverage. You sit back in zone. Cutler's going to hit the underneath passing game, pick up a couple of first downs, and your opportunities are going to be limited to get the ball back.
Forte has rushed for 65 yards on 12 carries in the game. They stop the play as the flag comes in, and here's Ed Hockley.
Illegal snap, offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's on the reliable leader of the offensive line, Olin Kreutz. Is the glue of that offensive line.
Can you see the steam coming out of his ears there?
Jim Schwartz.
I'll tell you the record and this football team, and I know that the long-range plans are out for head coaches. He's in year number 2. You better stick with that guy. Sam, we see him all, we know him all. You better stick with that guy.
He's trying so hard to change the losing culture. But they need results to the Lions. Right now, pressure on Cutler. Got rid of it to Greg Olsen. Spinning, he gets back to the 30-yard line. Time for an update, and for that, as always, we go to Kurt Menefee.
Cincinnati Cedric Benson with a short touchdown run, but they had missed an extra point earlier, so it's a 1-point ball game after that score. Very next possession, Saints stretch it back to 8. Robert Meacham, 52-yard reception from Drew Brees. It's now 27-19. Saints trying to hold on. 9.5 minutes left in Cincy. Sam and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. And how about acknowledgement to Drew Brees, Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year.
Well-deserving.
Great choice.
Yep. Great player, better person.
2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Comes the blitz.
Cutler goes short to Bennett. He's got it. Another catch and a first down. What a game Earl Bennett is having. That'll put him over 100 yards receiving in the game. Alphonso Smith shaking up for the Lions. He's gone to the sideline. Bennett is shaking up a little bit. His left arm.
Looks like he got one of those little stingers where that left arm has gone numb on him. But I tell you, the you to me factor, the chemistry from Jay Cutler to him today has been obvious. And I tell you, Jay Cutler seeing the blitz. You see the blitz come from the top of the screen. Houston, eyes in the back of his head. He gets it out. Jay is seeing it so much better over the last month and how the blitz is coming into his face.
End around, and getting away was Hester. And he picks up positive yardage, almost tackled for a big loss. He gets 5 on the play. The Lions brought in the former Bear, Nathan Vasher, to replace Alphonso Smith at cornerback.
Yeah, and Delmas, there he is here, the playmaking safety. Has a shot at Devin Hester. But Devin is quick.
Lions call a timeout with the Bears on the move.
Add breadsticks and a 2-liter Pepsi for just $5 more. The Cheesy Bites Pizza, only $11.99, and only at your Pizza Hut.
Career game for Earl Bennett, tied a career high with 7 catches, but a career high 104 yards. First time he's had a 100-yard game in the NFL. Bears at midfield, 2nd and 5. Quick toss, and that's another completion. And that'll get him another first down inside the 45-yard line. Johnny Knox on the receiving end, his 3rd catch of the game. It's been an efficient game for Jay Cutler. Nothing spectacular, but he is 20 for 25, 217 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and it's kind of par for the course for what they've been doing over the last 4 weeks, averaging about 25 attempts per game, and it's the short passing game, and that's the beauty of it. The patience. I think coming into the season, I think they realized who they wanted to be, and then the Giants woke them up. They realized who they were, Sam. They have morphed right to the run game and the short passing game.
It's the first ever American Country Awards, hosted by Trace Adkins, with over 15 performances from country music's biggest stars. It's the only country music award show where you vote for the winner. The American Country Awards, live tomorrow from Las Vegas at 8, 7 Central, only on Fox. That should be good.
You a country guy?
I like it. My wife loves it. Always has it on in the car.
Girls like country.
Lions are out of timeouts. Bears with a 4-point lead in the ball, 1st and 10. Forte, he stopped. Sammy Hill with a good job inside to make the stop. No gain on the play.
Yeah, no lights lit up right here. Detroit out of timeouts. They'll have the 2-minute to have the clock stopped, but other than that, they're going to have to use the sideline if they can get the ball back.
Bears will just let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning. They can do that. Jay Cutler, only one mistake. The one fumble for Jay Cutler in the game, and the Bears defense picked him up on that with a great stop, holding the Lions to a field goal. That was a key point in the game. Right now, the Bears with a 4-point lead and the ball, 2 minutes to go. It's been a great day for Jay Cutler, as we mentioned. He's been very efficient. The passes to Earl Bennett. Short ones, quick ones, they picked up yards. Maybe the biggest negative, he's taken some sacks in the game.
He's also broke free on some sacks. His legs have been a major asset, and that's the thing. 20 of 25 with a pretty consistent 4-man rush in his face throughout this game.
2nd and 10 for the Bears. Lions can't stop the clock. Short pass to Manamaliuna. That's a 1st down for the Bears. That's a big one. On the sideline, Drew Stanton disappointed. Sean Hill, the injured number 2 quarterback, trying to pump him up.
Yeah, he played well.
Played a good game. You're right.
Very good game, especially in the first half. Now, they've come out here in the second half, and the Bears have absolutely buckled down on defense. Their offense controlled the clock, playing keep away with the time of possession. Think about this, 253 yards of offense for the Lions in the first half. They came out in the second half. The Bears gave them 49 yards of offense in only 16 plays.
The Bears can run out the clock. It'll be another tough one, but a big one for the Bears. The producer of today's game, Mike Burks. Director, Greg Scopatoni. Associate Director, Tom Yohe. Oh, today it was Neil Gallo. And the broadcast associate, Matt Saldana. The technical producer, Frank Phillips. Special thanks go to Ty Yohe, Carla Kish, Chris Jones, and Mike Smith. Great job today on our crew. The studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy, associate director Stephanie Medina, highlights coordinator Janice Casasa, studio technical supervisor Jack Simmons. The Bears go to 9-3 and hold on to first place in the NFC North as they beat the Lions again. The Lions 0 for their last 19 in division games.
Unbelievable. You see all the smiles from the Bears players. They knew how hard it was going to be. And these Lions will not lay down for anybody. This was a tough battle for Chicago.
Bears have won 5 in a row and stay in first place in the NFC North. The Bears beat the Lions 24-20. For Tim Ryan and Jennifer Hammond, this is Sam Rosen. Now let's go to the studio to Kurt Menefee.
Welcome to the AT&T Game Break.
Ted is it's a little more difficult than he needed to, but that's what Ray Malaluga, his former teammate at USC, will do to you.
Wow.
But great concentration by Reggie.
Off the playing surface, a game that had nothing like the feel of the Philadelphia Eagles game from a week ago, but they will take it as of now as Matt Forte, Olin Kreutz, and Greg Olsen make their way into the locker room. We will hear from Lovie Smith coming up live, as well as Jay Cutler as he picks up his 9th victory of the season with the Bears. So they'll stay alone atop the NFC North. Welcome to U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live. I am Pat Boyle, joined as always by two-time Super Bowl champ Howard Griffith, former Bears quarterback Jim Miller, and our lead blocker Dan Jiggets. You know, guys, it looked too good to be true coming into this one. You're taking all right. My apologies. My apologies. How does that one taste, that victory?
Lukewarm.
You know, you're taking on a 2-9 Detroit team. Kyle Vanden Bosch is not going to play. They're down to the third-string quarterback in Drew Stanton. Javid Best, their running back, is banged up. And you kind of had a feeling it was almost too good to be true.
You knew this was going to, let's be honest, everybody knew this was going to happen, right? It's one of the things is, number one, playing within your division. Everybody knows everybody else so well. Number two, the Bears, let's be honest about it, came out, weren't ready to play today. That's the other thing that you could count on in these kinds of situations. I don't care how much, lip service you give, guys give it. As soon as you hear them talk about, well, we'll be ready, boom, there you go. They came out in the first half and laid an egg, basically.
Well, what do you say? I mean, you're going to have, those lull games, letdown games. This was one of them for the Bears. But, hey, you want to know what? It's not like San Francisco was a walk in the park for the Green Bay Packers. That game was a heated game well into the third quarter. So, hey, Bears did enough to win, keep their march going. They're one game up on Green Bay. A lot of positives you can draw from it.
And I think that's
Did you think this is the way it was going to go, Howard?
Well, I thought they would come out and really play a lot better than they did today, particularly the way they played in the first game. They knew that this was a good Detroit team, and they knew they would cause them some problems, particularly on the offensive side of football. Today, it happened to be the defensive line that really got after Chicago, but I thought they would play more inspired football today and they struggled.
Did you think going into this one that the special teams weren't going to give you the kind of effort that you were always getting from them, and the defense is going to let you down? But the defense, I don't think I've ever seen them tackle more poorly than today.
Yeah. Well, when you're not into a game, tackling and poor tackling
all of those
is usually
things
something that goes
rise
hand
to the
in hand with
surface.
that. Hey, we always want you guys to get interactive at home over the next 90 minutes. And to monitor your thoughts, your questions, your comments today, we are adding our own Tom Cooper to the equation, and Coop joins us now as we get interactive at csnchicago.com. Coop, what are they saying thus far?
A lot of people right now saying nice win, but. So a lot of people right now in the chat saying it's good to get the W, very much helps, but we got to get a lot better. The Bears do against the Jets and Patriots down the road. Remember, you can join Bears Postgame Live Interactive right now at csnchicago.com. Also, we'll take your email questions. Just click the link on the main page there, and we'll get to the best questions and stuff throughout the show.
All right, Coop, we'll continue to monitor.
Pat, can I jump in real quick?
Sure,
now, you had the Mr. Rogers look going on earlier today with this.
Yes, I
did. Coop comes in. He's got the Mr. Rogers look on, okay? He's wearing the sweater and everything with the little tie. Comes into the makeup room. Wants to cut the line. Yeah. It's his first day in there. He says, well, I'm next.
I got next.
Didn't he?
You know what? I just wanted to get the makeup on and get it over with. That's all I wanted.
Sure, you did. A couple of days ago, he wouldn't put makeup on. Now he's a diva.
Hey, rookie hazing ritual with the makeup line here.
Two rookie full positive.
It's just nice to be a part of it.
All right. Time now for the McDonald's Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game. Each week, we want you to vote on the Bears player of the game. Just log on to csnchicago.com, the Bears page, to cast your vote. This week's choices: Earl Bennett, Matt Forte, Brian Urlacher, or Robbie Gould, who connects on a career long in this game, 54 yards. Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana. McDonald's is a part of this show, as well as our Chicagoland affiliates in McDonald's. You can cast your vote for the Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game at csnchicago.com. We will have the results a little bit later on tonight on Sportsnet Central. We get this thing going, though, as always, with our Xfinity opening kickoff, and for that, our lead blocker, Dan Jiggets.
Well, I think I'll talk a little bit about it earlier. Don't take anything for granted. Look, you got the win out of this one. Thank goodness you got the win out of this one. But I think it'll also teach you something that is a valuable lesson, even though, you got the win, is you can't go out there and assume anything. And that goes for a defense that's been playing like one of the best in the National Football League. Today, they did not have that look. Special teams did not have that look. Get ready to play, guys. Next week, if you're not ready to play and all the engines aren't running, you got a problem, Houston.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And like always, you got to go and start fast on the road, especially against an opponent that's hurting a little bit, like the Detroit Lions. But, hey, I give the Bears credit. Look at today. One of the positives I drew from it, that's a pretty good defensive line of the Detroit Lions. Their 4-minute offense for the Bears was actually a short passing game late in the game. Got a couple of big first downs. So, if anything, don't embolden your opponent would be my big message.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, both of you. I think one of the other things that the Chicago Bears have to do is clean up the tackling. They're 9-3 now. We have to start looking at this team as an elite team this year because of their record. So they have an opportunity to do some special things once the playoffs get started. But if they don't take care of the little things, and that's really tackling, something that this defense normally does on a regular basis very well, they have to take care of that because that's the only way they're going to continue to go on its winning streak.
Attention to detail certainly hurt them in this game. If they had lost, we would have looked to that 2-play drive that went 91 yards just before the half. Bears are up at that point 14-10. They had the rock at the 44-yard line, 3rd and 2. They don't convert. They kick it to Detroit. And then they come through with the 2 plays.
Javed Best, boom, a 40-some yarder.
And then they hit Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson for the touchdown.
Their big playmaker on offense. And your thoughts on what the defense didn't do on that series in particular?
Well, I think number one, with 40-some seconds left on the clock, I think a lot of times, you kind of say, well, we're going to go into the half with the lead and everything else. That was a huge turnaround emotionally for the Detroit Lions, because at that point they may have been ready to tuck and run. But then all of a sudden you give them new life, and now you got another half of football to play, and you better play it as hard as you possibly can. But defensively, I think they just kind of went to sleep, said this, they got 90-some yards to go, it'll never happen.
Well, I almost question, too, you wonder, did the Bears expect more of a spread option attack from Drew Stanton? We know that's what he ran at Michigan State. I mean, you even saw option plays out of the spread today from the Detroit Lions. So I think that was a factor into it, because those were a lot of different things Detroit showed today that they haven't done all year. But I give the Bears the credit, because in the fourth quarter, when it mattered, Bears got the stops that they needed. That's when it matters the most, and they made the plays.
Let me flip this around to you.
Yeah.
Rod Marinelli had Drew Stanton there when he was the head coach of the Lions. He had to know what he can do well and what he doesn't do well.
Yeah.
So you had to have a fix on if they're going to do that.
Well,
that was
a different play caller, because I didn't know if Scott Linehan would be able to adjust like that. Scott Linehan's the offensive coordinator down there for Detroit. Typically, his offense has always been a deep play action, focus on the run. You look at him up at Minnesota, what he did with the Vikings when he moved on to the Miami Dolphins, and then with the Rams as a head coach. That was a colossal failure. But he's done a good job. The Lions are averaging 31 points at home. That's one of the best teams in the National Football League.
The problem is the opponents are averaging 32.
Yeah.
You won 2 Super Bowls with Denver, and I'm not saying that the Bears are ready to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, but after the win against the Eagles, we all said that, they certainly were one of the key players in the NFC. But when you were with Denver, did you have games like this where you take the foot off the gas because of the opponent?
I think a lot of times it's just human nature, and that's one of the things that players constantly have to battle, because it doesn't matter, and Jigs, you talked about this in the open, it doesn't matter what the coach is saying from the front of the room, the record still is what it is, even though when you turn on that film, you know that this is an outstanding team, but you have to find a way to push through these games. I'll go back to those 2 plays that they gave up that touchdown right at the half. That first one when Javed Best slammed it inside, they lost contain because he was able to bounce it outside and ended up turning it into a big play. But that's something that they can clean up. But when you talk about playing down to your level of competition, that's going to be a no-no, and that'll come back to bite them.
See, that goes back to something else, though, and that goes back to the attention to detail. Attention to detail is for this defense is to hit the gaps, make sure everybody hits the gaps, converge on the ball carrier, wrap him up. Number one, they didn't wrap him up. He was in the middle of a scrum there. He bounces out. Everybody's collapsed down inside. Nobody has contained outside. You look at the secondary, everybody's collapsing in, and he just gets out around the corner, and he's gone for 40-some yards.
Obviously, Chester Taylor, getting him more involved with the offense was something that the Bears wanted to do on this day. Earl Bennett, it does seem to be developing like Jay's go-to guy. Would you receive?
Yeah, it's like, I guess I got that old Vanderbilt connection. They only played 1 year together, I guess, at Vanderbilt.
Right.
But, boy, I tell you one thing, Earl Bennett is the guy that, and maybe this is because, he's a very bright guy. He's always in the right place, the right time, doing what he's supposed to do. And when they target you 7 times, you catch 7 balls. That's good news for the receiving coach, Darryl Drake.
Well, I think good news, there needs to be more fights at practice. Chester Taylor gets in a fight, you get in the ball game.
All right, guys, a big play, big call in this game was the Ndamukong Suh roughing penalty that gave the Bears the 1st and goal. penalty inside the red zone, so it was half the distance to the goal line. They end up scoring on the following play. Your thoughts? Because all three of you guys, when I asked you as we're watching the game, did the referees get it right? You all said no, they didn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say I think the officiating overall all year long has been horrible. You see how guys are getting fined, and everybody's going to say, hey, these guys got the money, they can afford it. I'm telling you, James Harrison for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 17% of his take-home pay has gone to fines. That's a lot of money, folks. And I know it's a bang-bang play for Ed Hockley and his crew to call, but this is now twice that it's been called on Ndamukong Suh. If you remember, against the Dallas Cowboys, he raked on Marion Barber's hair, and they called it a horse collar. That's not the right call, and thus he gets fined, and they're two, just poor calls on the field. I think the officiating's been poor, and it's affecting outcomes of games because what the officials are doing, just like James Harrison, Ndamukong Suh is now targeted by the NFL, the officials, and that is not right. It is wrong, and you see the missed calls that are going on the field because they're targeting certain players.
Penalty now for pulling extensions or dreads or whatever. But look, I think the whole problem is, how officials are when they see hands extended, and it's a quarterback. Somebody's in trouble. Yeah. And from his angle, it may look like he hit him on the top of the head or whatever. That's going to happen.
This is what bothers me, is it's watering down the National Football League. Do you as fans, do you want a watered down league? I mean, that's what it's getting to right now.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you want to see the Bears without Jay Cutler at quarterback?
Well, here's what we're saying. We're saying, James Harrison, you hit too hard. You hit too hard. That's a part of the game.
He's got to just rip the guy's helmet off like Andre Johnson and
go to work on him.
Think about that.
And he'll only get $25,000.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's throwing haymakers. What message does that send to the kids on the field?
Well, the message they're sending to him, I can't believe I'm taking this role but of management, but the lesson they're saying is, pick your head up, number one. Number two, don't hit somebody else in the head.
Here's Lovey. Let's go live to Ford Field.
It's just tough getting wins each week. It takes 60 minutes. For whatever reason, we didn't play as well as we need to, opening up the game. Offensively, I thought we did, do some good things, came out ready to go. Defensively, missed tackles, things like that really set us back a little bit. But, and in special teams, I thought our specialists were outstanding. Robbie kicking off, of course, the long field goal. Brad Maynard did a good job of punting also. But offensively, of course, Jay, in games like this, you need your special players to be special. Really thought he stood up, stepped up, and made play after play. His mobility, of course, continues to get us out of bad plays. Earl Bennett, each week seemed like we're talking about him. But all the guys got involved on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, Matt Forte did some good things, too. Defensively, the second half, we challenged the guys to play the way we're capable of playing as much as anything, and they did that. Really shut down, the Lions that second half of the game. But we got a 9th win. We're in first place. We feel good about that. To win 5 games in a row is tough to do. So we'll just go back and get ready for our next, our next opponent. Injury-wise, Nick Rhodes went down with some type of hip injury, couldn't finish the game. But it says a lot about a guy like Rod Wilson that steps in. He's a backup Mike, but stepped in and did a pretty good job with that. Take your question.
How big was holding on to a field goal after that turnover for the second half?
It was huge. For us to have a win, of course, a perfect scenario would have been to take the ball away in that situation. But next thing would have been to force a field goal. Of course, that was a huge play. And then that 4th down stop by the defense, allowing the offense to take control. Should mention DJ Moore, too. Did some good things. Of course, the sack was big. That 4th down play was big for him. He's a good football player.
Look, are we surprised that with the lead they were going for it on 4th down a couple times?
No, you're trying to win the game. Could have gone either way. We weren't surprised. Again, it could have gone there. That was the game a little bit, though, on who converted that. Luckily, we did.
But what was your message to the defense at the half? You upset?
Upset, yeah, you could say that. We weren't happy about what was happening outside. The message, though, was just to play the way we're capable of playing. I know they were doing some good things, but it's hard to stomach missed tackles and critical plays, letting a team go over 90 yards and on 2 plays. Should have had them stop. I was really thinking about stopping the clock and seeing if we could make them punt or so. But again, I like the way the guys finished.
Lovie, why have the 2 games against the Lions been fairly difficult? What have they kind of done to keep guys?
I think every game we've played has been difficult. There's parity in the league. Anyone. They had New England down 14-3 last time they played. You look around the league today, there aren't any runaway games, anything like that. You have to go into every game respecting an opponent and just assuming that it'll be a dogfight. That's the way it normally is.
Lovie, what do you think about the play towards the end, the drive when Cutler was hitting, when he scrambled and hit the back of the head by Sue?
Rick, I saw it exactly the way you saw it. I saw him get hit in the back of the head and thought Ed did a good job of calling it. So I saw it exactly the way the officials did. Should have been a penalty, and it was.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.
We will be bringing in Jay as well.
Lovie
I couldn't have said any better myself.
Describing the questionable call there late in the game that led to the game-winning touchdown by Mano Maliuna to make it 24-20. Here's a look at the game stats, total yards. Bears edged them out 311 to 302. The turnovers, they had the 1. Lions did not turn the rock over in this one. I think that's something that surprises us when you go up against a third-string quarterback and you seem to have most of the player personnel advantages on that field. But guys, let's get back to the call because, folks in Detroit around the league are going to say that this is twice now 2 bad calls have gone against Detroit, and that's why the Bears have won those 2 games. You could make a case certainly in Calvin Johnson in game 1, but there's no saying that the Bears would not have scored on that drive, even had they not called
it's a lot like a lot of the things. It's a judgment call on the part of the officials. How many times have you seen holding calls go against somebody, and you say, that was a bad call? Sometimes it happens, and sometimes if it's that close, it's bang, bang. Those guys are making a decision in an instant, and we're going to sit back and have the luxury of looking at it on replay. And you can't have defensive tackles following through on quarterbacks. I'll guarantee you that's the main reason why. If it had been a running back, it might have been a little different. But when it's a quarterback, they're not going to have it.
The bigger picture is 18-game schedule. It needs to be a full-time job in the National Football League. I've said it all along that there's too much right on it. Think about Brad Childress. Guys fired up there in Minnesota. Remember the touchdown pass catch by Vasante Shenko? Does that change their season? Does that affect the whole NFC North? At the end of the day, does Brad Childress still have a job right now? So you move it to 18 games. I think there needs to be talk that their livelihoods need to depend on it, and they need to prepare week in and week out, much like players and coaches.
Well, I haven't heard anybody come to Brad Childress' defense at all. But, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, they brought Mike Pereira in. I think the important thing about that call is it's not a challengeable situation, and it's one that has to be called at full speed. Now, we can all sit back here and pray that Fox shows an actual replay and then dissect it like it's the Zapruder film and then say, oh, yeah, he didn't exactly follow through, or he did or he didn't. When you look at it bang, bang, it certainly leaves the door open.
I tell you why, because a lot of times with offensive linemen, they'll call holding on. If they see you follow through and they see your arms extend and the guy goes to the ground, automatically here comes a flag. Now, it may have been that the guy tripped. It may have been a lot of different things. But as soon as I see those arms extend out, sorry, here's your flag.
And speaking of arms extended, how'd you like Ed Hockley's call? I mean, he wanted
Well, he's buffed up. He's still got a little buff going.
They may be drug testing, though, because I've noticed that he looks a little slimmer than normal. Either not spending as much time in the weight room or...
He's busy. He's got
another job.
Exactly. The one he's got during the week.
Let's get to some of the positives in this game. We mentioned Earl Bennett. What did you think of trying to get Chester Taylor more involved with this offense?
I loved it, and I don't know, there was something that happened at practice earlier this past week, and Chester was involved in it, and I guess it was, he's probably frustrated that he hasn't really been able to do what he came here to do. And certainly they gave him the opportunity with the touches he got today, and the end result of it was something that's pretty positive.
I loved it. I thought he was chippy, had a little edge, and he had something to prove today. And, it's only going to help Matt Forte out. You saw him with the fresh legs. He comes in, gets late in the fourth quarter, gets that big play, 20 yards, where he's able to run a route. Not too many running backs can do that. Take the middle, talk about that, Howard, because that was pretty special play by Matt Forte in an empty set, getting down the middle, and Jay Cutler finding him.
And that's huge. Anytime you can be able to really get out and run a route as a wide receiver against cover two, when you have the two safeties, he's got to get outside of that linebacker and then not bend too far in. He's got to stay up the field so he doesn't get led into the other play side safety there. So he did a good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. But when you talk about Taylor getting opportunities, you saw today that they made a concerted effort to say, okay, you don't just need to break Matt Forte. We're going to give Chester Taylor this series, and we're going to allow him to work. And I think that's what's key, allowing him to go in and know that he's not going to be coming out and having a chance to play the full series.
They gave him a slice. They give you a slice, you go home happy. They give you another slice, you're productive, you go home happy. And that's what happened with Chester Taylor.
That slice was a $12 million contract, wasn't it? Let's use the guy.
That was a big slice.
Big win for many reasons. The Packers took care of the 49ers 34-16, so they go to 8-4. So the Bears stay atop the NFC North. But if you look long term, also, it also helps you if it is between the Bears and the Packers within the division. Say the Packers win that last game of the season at Lambeau Field. So that wipes out head-to-head. Then you go division record. So it's important to get these division wins. Also, if they happen to fall to the wild card situation, it's a big victory because it's an NFC win, and that is also the tiebreaker there.
The problem is you have to hope, if you're the Bears, that it doesn't come down to the wild card situation because of who they lost to.
Yeah.
They lost to Seattle and Washington, in terms of the NFC so far. And that's not good, because I don't believe Green Bay, they got the loss to the Bears, but I'm not sure who they have in the NFC after that. But that's going to be
Atlanta last week.
Yeah, and that could be a dicey situation. So you don't want to be in that playground right now.
Which is exactly why they can't play down to the competition. They have to stay up and be ready to play every week.
Because you got Atlanta, you've got New Orleans, the defending world champions. We don't talk about them very much, do we? And then you got Green Bay right there on your heels as well. So those are all the teams that you have to be concern yourself with.
When you take a look at this and take a step back, are you concerned, or are we all just saying this is basically what we expect? You've got New England on the horizon. You're coming off a big victory over the Philadelphia Eagles and a business trip to Detroit in December.
Let's look at it this way. Maybe it was a teachable moment that didn't cost you anything.
Right.
Because, one of the things I guess you have to learn along the way is when you're a top-notch football team, how to play so that you dominate in the areas you can dominate week in and week out. And this week, and I heard Lovey talk about the special teams area. Robbie Gould was sensational as always. We understand that, the kickoffs into the end zone and the 54-yarder. But I think in a lot of areas in coverage on special teams, they didn't do what they were supposed to do today. And when you look at the defense, it's very obvious they didn't do what they're supposed to do. And pass protection off that right side. Averill had, 3 sacks on the day?
Yeah. Well, what's scary was at the defining moment in the fourth quarter where the Bears need to stop. Well, he's talking about turning on and off the switch. The Bears kind of turned it on there. That was kind of impressive to me.
We've got DJ chiming in from California. Feeling too much negativity from you guys. This was a huge win. What did you expect? The Bears to blow them out?
Yes.
I think on many levels you looked at it just from a personnel standpoint. Them having their third-string quarterback, Kyle Vanden Bosch. Now, we know Detroit's been in a lot of ball games. They've been a different team at home.
To give you an example, Pat, look at what New England did.
Correct.
Last week against Detroit. As Lovey mentioned, they were down by almost 14 points, something like that.
17-3.
They come back and smoke them in the second half, and that shows you what a team of that caliber does. If they get behind and they're taking things for granted, they come back out and they immediately change the whole dynamic of the game.
But the Bears missed that smoking second half.
That's next step for them. That's why we're not sounding negative. It's just, you look at that, you say, well, that's where you have to be. If you're going to get into a situation like that, be that kind of a team.
And that's how you have to start to look at this team. Now you have to see what are the weaknesses, and we have to explain what they are. I mean, it's not like we're going to look at this through rose-colored glasses or anything, but there are areas that the Bears have improved on.
Hold on.
My man Jiggs has got it in. But yes, they've gotten better in certain areas this year, which has allowed them to continue to win football games. But as I said earlier, a 9-3 team, you have to start to look at them a lot differently. So now you start to nitpick. You need to be able to go out and dominate your opponents when you have the opportunity.
As an example, when you were with Denver, you guys are rolling to Super Bowls. Did you ever have situations like this, and how did Coach Shanahan handle it?
Well, you'll have some lows. Like you can go and maybe not play as well as you needed to in the first half, but you knew in the second half you were going to come out and you were going to take care of business. The Bears haven't gotten there yet, and that's okay because not that much was expected when you start to talk about this team at the beginning of the year. So they are learning just as we are learning what this team does well. They're learning what they need to do better each and every week.
No Pisatino Isamoa on this day. Nick Roach gets banged up, so you're down to Rod Wilson at the linebacker spot, along with Brian and Lance. Do you put some of the problems that they had as far as tackling on that?
No, because there were a lot of other guys that were missing tackles. As a matter of fact, I think we got somebody up at the podium.
That would be the one and only Jay Cutler in his three-piece suit. Let's go live to Detroit on Comcast Sportsnet.
Jay, you're under a little bit of duress today, being on the road, get a good line and stuff. How were you able to kind of handle that without too many attacks?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we did a great job early. We had a stretch there where they brought some pressure. We knew they were going to bring some pressure with Van den Bosch being out. They're going to have to attack us a different way. So we weathered the storm. I thought Earl played well. The line played well. We ran the ball well. It was going to be a tough game coming into this place. So it's just a good victory for us.
Another good game by the offense. Every week it gets better. Tell us about the development here.
Yeah, it's starting to get fun for us. The guys aren't thinking as much. They're just out there playing. They know exactly what their responsibilities are. Mike's calling a great game. He's getting a real feel for what we're good at, what we feel comfortable doing. So, we're clicking. We just got to keep it going.
When they don't convert that fourth down, you guys come on the field with a chance to go ahead. How confident as an offense are you guys now that you, in that crucial situation, do exactly what you do?
Yeah, the guys, they're flying high right now. They're moving fast. They know exactly what their responsibilities are each and every play. So it's like I said, it's fun. We can't let off the gas now. We just got to keep getting better.
You showed a great deal of courage in that one play. You rolled out and you got away, but Sue nailed you and called for the penalty. What are your thoughts on that?
Courage or stupidity, I don't know which one yet. Sometimes I got to move around a little bit, make some plays. So that's how it goes.
Did you feel like it was an unfair hit on his part? If he didn't deserve a penalty?
I don't know. I didn't get to see the replay. I was too busy trying to get to the other play. So as soon as I see the copy, the officials, make the calls. We just got to live with them.
And not to belabor that, but where exactly did he hit you?
I just said I was on the ground. He hit me from behind.
Did he hit your helmet?
I don't know. I have to see it on film.
Jay, sorry if you answered this, right? Brandon Manuel,
yeah.
Blocker, obviously, how big is the 2 catches he made?
Yeah, we send him out every once in a while. Brandon is probably one of the more unselfish guys on the team because he's kind of got one of the dirty jobs on the team is just going in there and blocking and battling with the big guys. But every once in a while, we'd like to throw him a bone and get him out there. So he got great hands, so he made a touchdown and a huge third down conversion there to seal the game, second down conversion.
Jay, Earl Bennett made some big plays, I think especially on third down. Can you talk a little bit, if you remember any specific plays? Is he the primary receiver? Are you looking to him? He just seems to be coming through more and more.
I've got a rapport with Earl. I've played with Earl before. I've thrown with Earl a lot in the offseason, so I feel comfortable with him. We're putting him in spots to be successful. He does a lot of the dirty jobs as well for us too, moving around, blocking guys, working in the inside in the slot and stuff. So he, we try to keep him in the mix. Today just came up that he got a lot of balls.
So you guys got that 9-win sort of thing. How big is that for you personally, or how much did you put out since the start?
Yeah, it's huge. With all the turmoil I think that we went through this summer and learning the new offense, and everyone was discouraged with it early on, but we stuck it through, and we're starting to get some dividends now. We just got to keep getting better. We can't be satisfied with where we're at now.
I'm sure you feel that there's another step this offense can take. How big is that step, and how close are you to taking it?
I don't know how close we are. We just got to keep. I don't think we can take one huge step. We've got to just keep taking small steps and getting better and better in each game. And how long it'll take, I don't know. We've come a long way from the first game. Hopefully, there's still some improvement left before this last game.
Jay, you talked about Earl's skill set as a receiver. But what about his personality? Always been so laid back that he just doesn't seem to get plus at all?
Earl's been the same since his freshman year in college. Hasn't changed one iota. He's probably one of the best guys on the team. One of my dear personal friends. I'd do anything for the guy. On the field, he's a fierce competitor. He doesn't show it sometimes, but the guy loves to compete. He loves the ball. He loves football. He's a guy that, it's hard to just classify him as a receiver or something like that. He's a football player, and he can do anything for you, which makes it fun.
When you run, you're running very effectively. You seem to be willing to do that little extra, whether it's kind of tiptoeing on the sideline or ducking your head. You're not just sliding. Is that something different than you've done in the past, or is there a reason why you're kind of throwing caution to the wind a little bit?
It's December. We're playing well. We've got to keep it going. I've never really slid a lot in my career. If we're in the middle of the field, I might get down, but I'm trying to pick up third downs just like everyone else, and I'm going to try to do whatever it takes.
Julius Peppers said that a game like this is one that the team needs. You need to be able to kind of face out. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, coming off a high win off Philadelphia, it's easy to have a letdown game. We knew going into it, I think this team is veteran enough to know what type of game we were in for. It was going to be a tough one. It was going to be a fight. It was going to be 4 quarters. We weren't going to come in here and just blow anybody's doors off. This kind of knocks us back down a little bit. Gets our feet back on the ground. That every game is a tough one in the NFL, and we've got to prepare like it.
Anything else?
Cool. Thanks.
Jay Cutler after the 24-20 victory over Detroit. Bears win their 5th straight, and since the bye week, as you take a look at the play distribution during the 5-game win streak, in every occasion, the Bears have run the football more than they have passed it, including today. 28 rushes for $114, only 26 passes for Jay for 197. And again, Jay did not turn over the ball through the interception. He did have the fumble on the sack. Your thoughts on his protection today and his pocket presence?
I thought a very good defensive line by the Detroit Lions. Cliff Averill brings a lot of, he just has a good first step, much like Van Bosch. Not as powerful, but has a good first step. It was a problem for Brandon Maliuna on the day. But Jay Cutler, I thought he was fantastic. Good in his reads, good at getting rid of the football, quick to his checkdowns. Saw that a number of times today. The one he even shovel past it. And I think now we're seeing the Bears answer for not having audibles at the line of scrimmage. Couple of no-look passes today where you go up, the run play was called, he makes eye contact with the receiver. That's when you saw a couple of those quick slants to the backside that Jay took advantage of. Great day today for Jay.
Let me ask you a follow-up on the audible situation. We always hear with this Mike Martz offense that there is not a lot of room left for Jay to do that. Are you seeing a little bit of that from this offense as we continue to progress and they get confidence?
Well, a couple of things that we've talked about, Pat, and that you've noticed. You get upset at the timeouts that are called. A lot of it is because Mike Martz is waiting for the defense to put in their personnel. And so Jay's getting frustrated. There's not enough time to break the huddle, get up to the line of scrimmage, and call play. Today, they tried to get it in a lot quicker and allowed Jay the flexibility to look for some of those no-look passes instead of audibling at the line of scrimmage. That seems to be their answer that we saw today.
Wouldn't an answer to that be if you want to hustle up the offense a little bit? I mean, to hustle up the defense is to hustle up the offense, start going some no-huddle maybe, and then they won't be taking all that time over there on the sideline.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest keys when you talk about it is really dictating what the defense is trying to dictate, or taking what the defense gives you. And I think they did a tremendous job. They being Jay Cutler did a tremendous job today of taking advantage of where the defensive backs were lined up. If they were outside technique of the wide receiver, he knew that the wide receiver could bend it in and was able to catch the ball like that.
And as an example, look at the Earl Bennett situation. 7 for 7. He targeted him 7 times. Yeah. He caught all 7 of those footballs. He was on target a lot more today than we've seen him even in the past.
And how about what Earl did? Stretching for the first down.
Right.
I mean, just a
fabulous day.
Great game from Earl Bennett. Kip Lewis is in Detroit with the Bears, as he is all season long. He's standing by with Earl Bennett after his first 100-yard receiving game in the National Football League. We send it out to you, Kip.
All right, Pat, thanks. 7 receptions, 104 yards. First of all, you're going a little conservative with me on the suit today. You said the wife did this to you?
Yeah, my wife did this. She picked out the suit today, so, I mean, it did great gestures, though.
Talk about your performance in this game. I mean, once again, some key plays for you in the passing game.
I just wanted to come out and make plays. Most important, the coach was, he was dialing them up today, giving me a chance to make plays, and Jay did a great job.
We keep talking, but it seems like all of a sudden now you've become sort of the go-to guy the last few weeks in this offense. Is that by design, or has it just happened by the coverages and things you guys are seeing?
Yeah, it just happened. We feel like there's no number one guy in our receiver group. Everybody's out here making plays. Everybody is number one receiver. So, we just want to come out and make plays when the ball thrown to us, and continue to work hard.
How frustrating was it for you guys? Because offensively, this is one of the games you guys really never got into a great rhythm in this game. Really the first time since the bye week.
Yeah, Detroit did a great job today. They came out, played hard, but most importantly, we got the victory. We were able to, do enough to get the win.
You mentioned the victory, 5 wins in a row coming out of that bye week. Now, once again, you guys get another huge game. Everyone's going to want to see how you guys, it seems like no matter what you guys do, people want to see what you're going to do against another big dog. You have that coming up against Tom Brady and the Patriots. You're looking forward to that, number one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Anytime you can play against, supposed to be champs, we just want to go out and show the people that we are Super Bowl contenders, and just go out and win the game.
Are you going to go back to some of those wild suits next week?
Yeah, I'll throw some more.
I appreciate it.
No
All right, Earl Bennett, guys, outside the locker room, 7 catches, 104 yards, 14.9 yard average in the game. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. And I'm guessing you're going to talk to DJ Moore coming up. I'm just going out on a limb, and I'm going to say DJ Moore will seek out Kip Lewis on this day. And Earl Bennett, after that great performance, the 7 catches, targeted 8 times, first 100-yard receiving games. He is indeed our all-state good hands receiver. Coming up, we're going to hear more from the Bears locker room. We will have more player interviews with Kip Lewis. We've got your chats as we'll check in with CSNChicago.com. And here's our poll question. Does the Bears up our inbox at CSNChicago.com? And Tom Cooper is monitoring that situation for us. Coop, what's trending right now?
You're burning it up so much that the computer's crashing me twice. So good job, people out there in internet land. 3 trending topics right now in our chat on CSNChicago.com. Everybody's saying Nate Burleson. Any guarantees now? You want to guarantee that the sun comes up tomorrow? We'll see about that. The Ndamukong Suh penalty, people saying maybe the NFL fixed a little bit. Bears, we'll get into that later, I suppose. Meanwhile, a couple questions coming into the website. You can send them in on CSNChicago.com. Just click the tab on the upper right corner of the page. About the Bears' slow start. Tony Perez from Sterling, Illinois asked, why do we start so slow? Obviously, Tony Perez from the Big Red Machine wants to know why that. And then Patrick Egan from California, were the Bears unprepared, overconfident, or did they just give up early on and then have to put it together late? Guys?
All right, guys, your thoughts on the slow start and where this team was at mentally entering this contest?
Coaches can do everything they possibly can to prepare you. Look, it was obvious in the second half when they really needed it. Defensively, they were prepared to stop them. But emotionally, when you come out, and you look at a team like Detroit, and they're playing with a third-team quarterback, and Javid Best maybe has a bad foot. They didn't know if he's going to have to, roll out there with, the crutch or something like that. All those things start to work in your mind. You say, man, you know what? Maybe this is not going to be as tough as we thought it was going to be. And then all of a sudden you get out there and you're in a dogfight. And that's what happened. And basically the defense settled down, and late in the second half decided, okay, let's play like we should have been playing all game long. I look at this defense and I say this is the best defense. I call them the best defense in the NFL. And on a week in and week out basis, they have to back that up. And then they didn't back it up today in the first half. And I think they'll be the first guys to tell you that.
How can you call them the best defense in the league if they don't do a great job against a third-string quarterback?
Well, that's my point. Now, now you got something to prove all over again. All the work you did before, start all over again.
Well, I think we saw today, that the Bears thinking that they're, well, I don't want to say thinking that they're good. They know they're good. Let's just put it that way. But look at some of the mismatches. DJ Moore on Calvin Johnson, that's not the matchup you're looking for. So I think if the Bears were to go back, playing again, they felt that hey, we've got the talent. We should be able to go in there, play a lot of base defense. They brought some blitzes, but play their base defense and we can come out with a win. Lions exposed them on a couple of plays, and we're, next time I think they do it differently.
And let's face it, Howard, on the Nate Burleson guarantee, that probably, I know talking to Lance Briggs during the week, some of the guys, it was in every meeting room. They had it up there. They discussed it. But once you hit the field, the Burleson's comment on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was, doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, and the beauty of that guarantee is that he started to backtrack from that guarantee in the same conversation. So it really wasn't a guarantee. But I think at the end of the day, yes, you can put it up in your meeting rooms. You can have it as bulletin board material. But once you go out on the field, you still have to get out there and you have to go out and execute your offense and defense. And really, when you look at Chicago, they struggled a little bit, particularly in the first half, with their defense and made some adjustments and were able to take care of business later.
Matt Forte, 13 carries, 64 yards, a touchdown, and an interview with our Kip Lewis moments ago.
All right, guys, with Matt Forte, and I'm going to give out the first award of the year because there are a couple of guys I had to pick on in the outfits. You know, we used to talk about guys' clothes after the game. I'm going to give you the award for best dress on the team right now. With 4 games to go, it's over. So that we know has been decided.
I'm glad you see that. I'm glad you see the style. You're not too bad yourself.
All right, and I don't want to waste everyone's time, but you got to work with your boy DJ Moore. The red shoes today?
Hey, I mean, some people got different style or swag these days. You know, swag. That's what the young folks say, swag. But you know, the young boys. Sometimes you can't talk. You talk to them, but sometimes it don't work.
You're not that old, by the way.
I know. I feel old though. Sometimes.
All right, let's get to the important stuff. Talk about this game. It's sort of a rough game for you guys. Obviously, the most important thing, getting it done, but just some struggles offensively in this game.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was. I mean, it's all around. It was a good win, though. You know, I think it was good for us to come out and you know, see how we respond when we struggle a little bit on the offense. You know, just because there's some things go bad, you can't just can it. You know, we come out and we came back out and scored some points and was able to win the game.
Some of the guys on both sides of the ball talked about the fact that, hey, this wasn't the type of effort we needed to bring to the table. Any reason why that happened, knowing that how important this game was?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the effort was good out there. I mean, if we're not giving 100% out there, the coaches are gonna see that first, and that guy's not gonna be on the field. So I feel like we gave it all, and especially at the end of the game, when we were able to run the clock out.
This is the first game this season. Both you and Chester scored a touchdown in the same game. In the last 5 games, 5-0 since the bye, what has been the difference in this team? I've asked everyone this. Is there anything in particular that you can put your finger on?
I think most of all, 2 points. Running the ball more effectively, getting more than 4 yards a carry or 4 yards a carry, and also just converting on third downs. When we got to keep a drive alive on a 3rd and short or maybe a 3rd and medium, that's important. And we've been converting a lot on the 3rd downs.
Sort of asked everyone this. Philadelphia was obviously a huge game. Now you've got another game against a team, obviously from the AFC, but a team that people are talking about. Hey, this is a Super Bowl contender team. Everyone knows about Tom Brady. How much are you guys looking forward to having another game like that, especially getting that at home?
We're really looking forward to it. Each week since the bye week, it's been a good defense, another good defense, another good defense, another good team, another good team. So, it's a good test that we had these games like that. So, we can get better each week against them.
All right, Matt, appreciate your time. Some point at the end of the year, maybe we'll get some trophy made up and we'll send it to you with one of your outfits. All right, Matt, appreciate your time. Matt Forte, guys, I'm giving out the award right now, Best Dress on the Team for 2010. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. Would like to have seen the red shoes. We should, let's...
Another awkward moment brought to you by Kip Lewis.
Here's a look at our running back comparison for Week 13 with Forte and Chester Taylor. 13 carries for Matt, 9 for Chester, as they made a concerted effort to get him involved in this offense. And I applaud the Bears on that, because you look at it, you sign this guy to a big contract. We've been talking about it in weeks past. I mean, last week he had negative yardage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Negative half yards, something like that. And you pay him that kind of money. He's kept his mouth shut, done what he has been asked to do, but there hasn't been a lot for him to do. And we thought maybe, teams were keying on him because they were looking at certain formations when he was in there and whom they seemed to get in the backfield as they were handing off to him. But you pick a Lions team to kind of get him going again. So probably if you're going to pick any of these final 5 games and now 4 games to go, this would have been the game to get him more involved.
And it gives the opposition more tape to have to look at and more plays to have to respect. when you talk about going against teams like New England, Belichick, and all that he's going to bring, you want to make sure that you give him plenty of stuff to sit down and have to diagram during the course of the week. And certainly when you add another weapon like Chester Taylor to the mix, it definitely changes how you approach them defensively.
And it wasn't just the plays that Chester Taylor does well. We heard, hey, he's a third down back. You're going to see draws. You're going to see screens. You saw him run some sweeps today. Saw some bob plays where it's ISO plays, back on backer for the fullback. And that, again, it creates more for the opponent to worry about because those are the plays that Matt Forte runs. So I think it adds another element to the Bears offense.
And again, let's not overreact about this narrow victory in Detroit. If we look at, say, the New Orleans Saints, okay, the defending champs, a team that's sort of under the radar. I know how you can be if you've got the ring on your hand. But you're taking on a Cincinnati team today, much like Detroit. They've been in some games. They're a 2-10 team. But you need a last-minute touchdown to beat them at their place. Similar type of situation. Yeah. This is what happens in the NFL, right?
Yeah, it's hard because Cincinnati's a talented team. I think we'd all agree. Pro Bowl quarterback versus Drew Stanton. I mean, they're totally different. You got T.O., you got a good defense in Mike Zimmer. They just haven't played up to their level of talent, in my opinion, down there in Cincinnati. But as for talent on a roster, they're a talented team and gave New Orleans all they could handle.
The way Carson Palmer has played this year, I might take Drew Stanton over Carson
Good
Palmer.
point, good point.
Coming up, we're going to check in again with Tom Cooper, see what you're having to say at CSNChicago.com. We've got Lance Briggs, locker room reaction, all coming in from Ford Field. So keep it right here on U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live. We're a 4 of 7 on third down conversions in the first half. They gave up only 49 total yards by the defense in the second half. Some big stops on 4th and 1 and 3rd and short. And Lance Briggs a part of that. He had 7 combined tackles on this day. Second to only Brian Urlacher, who had 17. Let's hear from number 55, the 5-time Pro Bowler.
You know, it's a tale of two halves, and, you know, the stuff that we did in the first half, you know, hats off to the offense for really keeping us in that game. And the defense being able to finish strong, you know, in that second half. That's really the tale of the game for defensive-wise, but our offense, we're rolling.
Any adjustments you make at halftime, Lance, to kind of tighten things down?
Attitude. You know, second half, it became a game that we defense, we needed pride. We needed to step up and make some more plays, and that's what ended up happening.
I didn't see the final stats yet, but I think Drew might have had the highest quarterback rating of any quarterback against you guys all year, which is
not bad.
I mean, no one's had 100, but how do you think?
Well, you know, the problem, you know, when you go down, the offense goes down and drives and scores the ball, and you know, the Detroit Lions offense gets on the field and scores in 2 plays. You know, that's not us. You know, that's not us. You know, we got to make it harder for teams to score against us. You know, there's a difference between, you know, them scoring and us making them make plays.
How important was that 4th down stand for you guys right there? Did it change the whole game?
I wouldn't necessarily change the whole game, you know what I mean, but it was big. It was definitely big. That point of the game, you know, we need to get off the field. We need our offense on the field, control that clock, and we can get off the field.
Grinding out a win like this, it just shows that any team can put up a great effort every game, and it's tough to win in the NFL.
Every week is tough to win. There are no easy opponents. You know, Detroit always plays us tough here, and the score of the game, and the turnout was pretty much predicted. You know, you could have predicted it.
How mad was Love at halftime?
He was hot. He was hot. I mean, not at everybody. You know, I mean, he was happy with the offense. You know, special teams. You know, but defensively, that's not characteristics of us in that first half.
Was it just big?
Till Lance Briggs was bothered with the way this defense played, certainly in the first half and that last 91-yard drive just before the break. You can hear from Lance Briggs, Tom Thayer, every Thursday, 11 o'clock. It's Countdown to Kickoff right here on Comcast Sportsnet. But they did come to play, as he mentioned, in the second half and seemed to elevate their game. Early 4th quarter, 3rd and 1. They stopped Javid Best, and then on 4th and they said 4th and 1, 4th and maybe yard and a half or so. Detroit decides to throw, and they come up with a key stop there. But that was huge. The defense did rise to the occasion.
And that's that defense that we've been used to seeing.
Right.
And there was a distinct difference between the way they played the first half, and you heard Lance kind of refer to that in his conversation and the way that they came out in the second half, and particularly down the stretch of the game when they knew they had to get about the business of winning a football game. They will learn from that as well, hopefully. And all these things, these little lessons add up. And at the end of the season, hopefully, you still, only have 3 losses when the day is done, and you're playing much better football because of it.
Well, that time I talked about maybe not the best game plan, having DJ Moore on Calvin Johnson. That was a great defensive call, knowing that Detroit was going to go to the bootleg naked play. Pepper stays home, rushes a quarterback high, and then you got DJ Moore playing the tight end in the backside. He stayed home because if you go back, what was their game against the Jets 3 games ago? That's the exact play call the Lions went to, so the Bears were tipped off on that call.
Yeah, they tried some different things with Calvin Johnson. We saw peanut on him quite a bit in the first half. The Bears don't often swap their corners to stay on some. They usually stay on their side of the field. But what we've seen now in the last 2 weeks, and they did a great job against Philadelphia and their talented wideouts, is trying to reroute the wide receivers. And, if there's been something that I've had an issue with the Tampa 2 since Lovie arrived in town, is not enough jamming at the line of scrimmage on the receivers. But they're doing just enough. You can even reroute a guy at 5 yards. You don't necessarily have to get your hands on him.
Well, we saw a play earlier against Calvin Johnson, Peanut going against him, and he got physical with him at the line of scrimmage and disrupted the route. And I think that is the key when you're playing against a tall, physical receiver. You may not be able to play bump and run right at the line of scrimmage, but within that 5-yard area, you need to be able to knock him off his keel so he doesn't have that great timing and isn't able to just run into the routes like he's been able to do before.
I imagine it's partly knowing the people you're playing against. Maybe one of the things about Calvin Johnson that he doesn't do well maybe is escape that punch off the line of scrimmage. Maybe that's something that they watched in tape and they said, well, this time around we have to be a bit more physical with him. You're right, though. That's one of the things we've been crying about.
We've been saying it for years.
Let's rough him up a little bit at the line of scrimmage. Reroute him.
Yeah, he's such a long strider. Don't let him get going. And that's the same for speedy teams like Philadelphia Eagles, Deshaun Jackson. You got to get up in his face. Do not let that guy get going at the line of scrimmage. That's how you slow down teams like that and bigger receivers.
And it also gives your D-line that extra second, maybe half second to maybe get to the quarterback.
It's on the slowest roll.
If there's any question why this defense has elevated to the next level, you could talk about Julius Peppers. You could talk about the consistent play finally from the safeties. You could also talk about Brian Urlacher.
Oh, no doubt.
That guy's been here all season long after missing almost the entire last season, going down in that first game against the Packers. 17 combined tackles from Brian. He spoke to the media a short time ago.
They had, 10 days to prepare for us, so they're ready to play, but we found a way to win.
A lot of talking going on out there. This looked like their game.
I'm sorry?
This looked like this was their season for them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I try to get caught up in that too much, but I think I did a little bit today. It was, it's a division game. There's always going to be a little bit more on the line, which is a division game, no matter what the records are. Both sides are going to be ready to go.
Yeah, thanks, Ray.
All right, how important was that stand on 4th down?
It was a big play. DJ did a good job, There's a couple there. The third down, or the drive before that, we almost stopped them. We didn't, obviously, but that's field goals. So we kept them on a field goal range. DJ made a nice play there, and then DJ made a big sack on the next series, kick him out of field goal range. So we made plays when we had to.
Is it a case in point that every game in the NFL is just a tough win no matter who?
There's no easy game. I say it every week. There's no easy games. There's no bye weeks. They're all tough teams no matter where you're playing or home or away. The games are tough. If you don't prepare and don't play well, you're not going to win.
When you come out of this week, with a 1-game lead still in the Central, so you come out still on top.
Yes.
Yeah, it's North or whatever.
Yep, NFC North. Yep, we're still leading it. Sorry. Oh, we made a ton of adjustments at halftime. We didn't do anything. We went out and we played better in the second half. We didn't change. We just didn't play. We didn't tackle the first half. We didn't read our keys. We didn't make plays. In the second half, we did what we do. We got after the quarterback. We stopped the run, and we got to the football.
You were all single-handedly trying to make up for the way the defense was playing.
Not one guy's going to do it. I mean, I was just trying to do my job. We had some busts. They had some long plays. They're fast. Those running backs pretty fast. So he had a couple long runs on us, but we made a couple more plays at the end.
You guys are a veteran group. Does anybody need to make a halftime?
No, we don't. I mean, we know what needs to be done. If we don't, then someone will say it. But we're pretty sure we know what we need to do. There wasn't a lot of yelling at halftime, a lot of screaming. Just do your job, and we did that in the second half.
Brian Urlacher after the 24-20 victory, and he had 17 tackles along the way and a half sack. Here's front and takes care of business in South Philly. Who's not? Ryan Fitzpatrick from
Harvard.
15 to 25 touchdown and pick. Kerry Collins and Chad Henne from
One's from Penn State,
Michigan.
Michigan. That's the one I wanted to get in.
How about Drew Stanton from
Michigan State? Oh, yeah, good point. Ed Hockley will comment on the Ndamukong Suh roughing penalty coming up.
I'm a preservationist.
I'm a modern-day blacksmith.
I'm a neighborhood therapist.
I'm asking the questions you're asking.
I'm Illinois, born and bred.
I'm split down the middle.
I'm a journalist who loves to learn what inspires people.
I'm bringing cultures together.
I'm still learning.
I'm busy right now.
I am a character.
I'm always checking the weather in Chicago.
I am Chicago.
I am Chicago.
We are Chicago.
We are Chicago.
We are Chicago.
McDonald's bacon and cheese.
Runner that happened to be the quarterback. That is why I was down there following it. He's my responsibility. When you hear that, you agree?
Disagree completely. Guys along the sideline, a lot of guys push a guy out of bounds along the sidelines. If they were to wrap up and hit a guy out of bounds, that'd be a flag for, almost same thing. Personal foul for roughing is what it would be.
Responsibility. He has his responsibility.
You guys are drinking the haterade. No, we're coming back with
That's a great call, Ed.
We're coming back with our Bears' most valuable player of the game and more.
It's like Jig's Gatorade. It's watered down.
My dad loves the